Give praise and esteem and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach, and we will begin at the 5th chapter of John and the 39th verse.
Oh, did you see that text that day? It was like, hold on, bro, you ain't hit John 5.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He on it.
Yeah, he on it.
Search the scriptures, and then you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another man should come in his own name, him you will receive. But how can you believe but receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Elohim only?
All right, let's go to Galatians chapter 3 and verse 1.
It said, O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahushua Mashiach have been evidently set forth and crucified among you.
He's evidently been done what?
Crucified among you.
What else?
This only what I learned of you. Receive ye the Ruach by the work of the law?
You receive the Ruach by what?
The work of the law?
Or what else?
Or by the hearing of faith?
By the hearing of who?
The hearing of faith.
Go ahead.
It says, are ye so foolish, having begun in the Ruach? Are ye now made perfect by the flesh?
Oh, man. Why would y'all think that he would compare the law to the flesh and the Ruach to faith to the Ruach? Why would you think he would make that comparison?
The law had carnal organs.
You said the law had carnal organs?
No, I said because of what we just.
Yeah, that would be correct. Let's go to
I was going to say, because that scripture would say the law is not for a righteous man.
yeah, I mean that's in that epistle letter, but in this instance he's telling you you began to be perfect through the Ruach, and now you're trying to be perfect through the flesh. So we have to sit back and you have to be able to ascertain, why does he mean that? What is he talking about? So let's look at something else first. Let's go to Psalms chapter 40. Let's go to verse 1. Psalms 40 and 1.
It said, I waited patiently for you, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me also out of the horrible pit.
Brought you out of where?
The horrible pit.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the miry clay.
Out of the who?
The miry clay.
Now, when it say miry clay, what you think he talking about? Miry clay. If we sing about miry clay, yeah. Dang, this junk here, man. I'm trying to think of that verse in Jeremiah. Mire is dregs or mud, you know, like you said, right? Let's look at something, right? I think it's Jeremiah the 18th chapter. Give me verse 1. Because he said you was in that pit and he brought you out of miry clay. Let me make sure Jeremiah 18 is what I... Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Jeremiah.
It said, the word which came unto Jeremiah from Yahuwah saying, arise, go down to the potter's house.
Go down to who?
The potter's house.
Mm-hmm.
There I will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold,
What's the potter's house? What is a potter? We know it ain't that junk around the corner from him. Now we know that them people they named their organization that for a reason though, right?
Yeah.
And they were naming it after what's written in here. So what is the potter's house? What is a potter? What does a potter do?
Make
clay vessels.
They make absolutely like what?
set better.
Yeah, they make clay vessels, absolutely. So read that verse again for me, sir.
it says, arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause thee to hear my words.
He'll cause you to. So you got to go down to whose house?
The potter's house.
And at the potter's house, the potter will call you. When you go to his house, you'll be able to do what?
Hear his word.
Now let's look at something else. Isaiah 64 and 5. Make it full.
It says,
Now hold on. Now,
Hello.
hey.
How you doing?
I just want to give you the card for the brother right here.
Okay.
And hey, give us a call sometime. And hey, everybody's black and beautiful here, man. It's lovely.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Peace.
Yeah, but look.
All right, y'all. So
I gave you the card.
the word for potter is yatzer, and it's to form or to fashion or a creation or to be formed or to be created. So So that means you need to go down to the Creator's house. Who would be the Creator? And I would say, oh no, that's two characters right there. Ain't it?
That's three.
That's what I thought. I wouldn't show you. I don't know that.
Yard to side and rush.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know that white Hebrew. That's what it's called. So if you got a yard, Tassad, and a Rosh, what would we have? We know we got a hand. Go ahead, Stanley. You know that's your area. You like to participate in that part. You don't want to participate, Stanley?
I learned from you.
That don't mean nothing. So you should be able to continue on the tradition. So
What side means like adversary?
it means a desire
Desire?
or desire of a man. So and then you have the head. So if we look at the creation, then the desire of man should be to his head, wouldn't you say? Well, then we need to look at Genesis 3 and 15 now, or 3 and 16 now, wouldn't we? And after Genesis 3 and 16, we would look at 1 Corinthians 11. And what? 1, I guess.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire to be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
So now remember, now he's telling you got to go to the potter's house to hear the words, because he said he delivered you from miry clay. This is talking about what we were talking about last night, whether you realize it or not, with that miry clay, that he said he delivered you from what? A terrible pit and miry clay. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. Again, I'm just using this as a framework, like we talked about last night, because the book uses it repeatedly. We know about the marriage supper of the Lamb. He consistently compares his relationship to us as a man to his wife. You know what I'm saying?
1 Corinthians 11.
And like a whorish woman, we liked it bald. And you know what I'm saying? Like he told you in Hosea, I want to go mess with these other lovers, even though you give me everything I got. And then when I'm tired of getting ran through, I go back to my first husband because it was better for me then. That's what he said. That's got to be the most hardest thing. I remember somebody said, why you got to talk about us like that? I didn't talk about us like that. Our God did. He the one said you opened your feet to everybody that passed by. And mad at me because he said we were a whore. You want around here and act like you. You know, it's just like a whorish woman when she get married and she put on white. Baby, that ship been sailed. You know what I'm talking about? That ship has sailed. You done started your marriage off with a lie. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nothing pure over here. You might need some pure vinegar to bring it back. That's what 1 Corinthians 11 1. Oh my God.
What the cussing pastor said about that? He was talking about the vagina. He was like, if the walls all tear down, then you wanna.
Yeah, they Jericho walls.
He don't be lying.
He don't be lying. I mean, he got a
little twisted perspective.
Now it ain't even necessarily perspective twisted. That nigga just a false prophet, but that nigga be telling the truth though. I mean, 95% of the stuff the nigga talk about is everyday regular life stuff, and niggas not lying.
Yeah.
It's just when he start deviling the word, he don't know what he talking about. But shoot, that man old, he got plenty of life experience.
Yeah.
That man ain't lying on nothing he talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just cause see, if you was remove pastor from his name and you hear him talk, then people would accept him.
But I think he don't call himself a cousin pastor.
No, but he called himself Pastor Thaddeus Matthews though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you, that's why they call him cousin pastor, because he's a pastor in Memphis, Tennessee.
I'm a cousin.
Yeah, he did say that. But remember, that's the video of the dude I showed you in front of the van when he was talking about, oh, you know you done messed up, right? He said, no, I know I got to come for you. Because he said, I don't even know why you got that wife. You know you like boys. You know? That was an old video. That's an old video.
Old video.
It's old video.
What's wrong?
I don't know. White women see so many black people together, she don't know what to do.
Smile the first time she walked by.
She just came over to lock that auditorium door so nobody could slide in there. Because I definitely would have tried them.
Yeah, I thought we was gonna make that move.
No, but they wouldn't. Yeah, all of them didn't come out fast enough. So then clearly I'm glad we didn't, because we would have had to get up again. What you doing in here? Niggas, you didn't ask permission. But go sit down, boy. Sit over there with Stanley or sit somewhere else. Stanley ain't been lifting out in a while. I don't know if he want to pick you up. Shoot, I lifted out yesterday. I don't want to pick you up. That's a big boy. But yeah, I mean, you have to think about that though. There's numerous times that because as a people, that's what we did. When we got tired of getting used up by Dagon or Ashtaroth or Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites, or Baal, we want to go back to our husband now. You know what I'm saying? Because I go and tell you, we don't like righteousness. You know what I'm saying? You had your good husband. You had a man who loved you. Was a righteous, upright man. He said, I don't like the way he looked. I like Baal over there. He's more handsome. Maybe I can get him to take these laws and I'll follow him. Because we were doing that, mixing our ways with these people's ways and trying to make them one. As we tend to do right now. Continue on, sir. Oh, not at the moment. 1 Corinthians 11:1.
It said, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Mashiach.
Yep.
Now I praise you, brother, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
Yep.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is the Mashiach,
Yep.
and that the head of the woman is man, and the head of the Mashiach is Elohim.
Pause. You know what we came there to read that for? Because if the head of the man is a Mashiach and we're one with him, as it tells you in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, then you would be considered to be his wife and your desire should be to your husband. Which means he is your creator, he is your maker, he's the one who fashions you and makes you. He's the one that actually makes you into a son of Elohim. So he would be the potter. Come on back to that, what was that, Isaiah 64? Girl, you know you don't need no cookies. You just started working out. Don't lie on that baby. Don't lie on that baby. It's a sin to lie.
I was going to give him one.
I know it. One piece, one chocolate chip. Look how she looking. Like the baby.
What you look at? Go sit down, Martin. Go sit down. Go sit down.
Nigga just started going to the gym eating cookies. You ain't gonna get rid of that. One day out the week. Okay. But guess what though? What you mean? You ain't gonna get rid of that hot dog pack eating them cookies?
Damn. Not the wiener pie.
I'm just being honest with you to give you that motivation. Go to the gym and get that hot dog pack off your back.
You know what? I'll get one before they beat the party.
Shoot, she should have gave you two. That nigga didn't need 4 cookies.
First off, I gave him one. You see him chewing on that cookie.
So that means there's 3. We know how to. Okay, you could have gave him 2 and stuck with 1. Stick to your diet regimen. Stick to your diet.
diet.
Clearly not.
Y'all see that? 3 cookies, really?
You want to try it? You did not try it.
Sorry, sit on your behind before you get it popped.
That's how you insist.
Yeah. you
Nope,
sit
I don't
down.
care nothing about your cookie. You're gonna have a warm bun. Come on.
Come on.
64 and 4. Isaiah 64 and 4. Asaya and Muffin. Y'all need to be quiet. Or it can be nap time. Would you like to take a nap? Then be quiet.
For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard nor perceived by ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Elohim, besides thee. What he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. Thou meetest him that rejoices and worketh righteousness. Those that remember thee in thy ways, behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned.
We have what?
We have sinned.
He was what?
He was wroth.
He was wroth. Now, who did he take that anger out on? Pause. Romans 8 and 25. Let's see who he took that anger out on. He ain't take it out on us. He took that out on him. Does anybody know that? Doesn't he say in the law that he wanted to kill us all as what? One man. And if we are his body and we are his flesh, so again, the whole point is right. This is right, and it's just not the obedience to the law. If your desire is to your husband, it's because you trust this person's capability to direct you in the right direction. Henry round there, Pat. I know he round there, pilfering. But you too big for your voice to be that high.
He brought this thing out.
Why she pull that out like a Catholic school teacher? Give me your hand. You should have seen him when he got a spanker yesterday. That nigga bent down and grabbed his legs like this here. That junk was hilarious. That junk was hilarious. Come on, man.
Romans 8:25.
Mm-hmm.
It said, but if we hope for what we see not, then do we with patience wait for it.
Uh-huh.
Likewise, the Lord also helpeth our infirmities, but we know not
What we ought to pray for. Let me ask you a question. Do you see the body that you will receive? Can you see it? So with patience, you did the Mashiach see it? But yet he told his apostles and all the people that what? He would be resurrected on the third day. Now, of course, when we talk about the potter's house, I didn't go into detail, but y'all know who the house is according to the text. It's Yahushua. He said he is the house or the temple. Come on.
give it to me. Come on. It says, likewise, he helpeth our infirmities,
Hey,
so we know
hold
not what
on.
we should pray.
Children. No conversation. Act like you see a television show that you watch and you stay dead quiet. Or you're going to take a nap. Would you like to take a nap? Okay, gotcha. You know, you don't talk. Yes, you do. You don't talk. You see. Don't blink your eyes at me. I take that as disrespect.
You better fix your face.
Oh no, you ain't shoot no units, did I? I'm too far away to strike you. Continue, sir.
It says, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Ruach itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
Yep.
And he that searches the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Ruach, because he maketh intercession for the Kadeshim according to the will of Elohim.
Yep.
And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love Elohim, to them who are called according to his purpose.
Yep.
Whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to become conformed to the
You know,
image
also
of
one of
his
those meanings for Yatzer for Potter is to predesignate or to predetermine or to foreordain. So there are people who have already been fashioned out by this potter out of that miry clay. Continue on, sir.
It says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers.
You notice how they say you got to be conformed to what?
The son.
Conformed to the image. So if we think about the image of the son, what would that image be? Are we talking about that's too broad? If we say be conformed to the image of his son, what parts of his image are you being conformed to? I just had a brother on my page. We looked at that Exodus 34:6 last night, right? Brother just asked, when Yahuwah proclaimed his name to Moses, he said, why did he proclaim the name of Yahuwah with mercy versus Elohim with justice? Does anybody have any idea why he would proclaim Yahuwah versus proclaiming Elohim? Because both of them, two different things, mean two different things. So why do you think he proclaimed Yahuwah, which was in capitalized mercy, versus proclaiming Elohim, which is justice and judgment? And I actually told him, we actually explained that last night, actually. Because remember, he said, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, abundant in goodness and truth, long-suffering, forgive us iniquity, forgive us, show us mercy, and forgive us transgression, iniquity, and sin to the thousands of them who love him and keep his commandments. And he also said he punishes to the third and fourth generation. But of course, if you will remember, the reason why he proclaimed the name of Yahuwah to manifest his mercy is because the people had just broke the covenant. They had just broken. Before that point, he hadn't proclaimed his name to them other than telling Moses what his name was and for him to go back and tell him what his name was. But he hadn't proclaimed his name to anyone to that point. You know what I'm saying? But when he chose to do so, it was after the people had broken the covenant. So as it says in Psalms, that you may know that there's forgiveness with him, that you may fear him. See, we walk around thinking, I'll commit a sin and he'll forgive me for it, not thinking you may die in that sin and go to hell for it. You know what I'm saying? That's the wrong attitude to have. But then if you know that he is merciful, then the book say you ought to turn to that mercy before it runs out. He tell you that in Psalm Isaiah 55, do he not? The evil man forsake his thoughts and the wicked man his way, and seek Yahuwah while he may be found. We know that seek is talking about sacrificing yourself to enter into the house of the door. So you better make that sacrifice while the opportunity presents itself to be made. Because once that opportunity passes, you're done. A lot of people let that opportunity pass, whether they have heard of Yahuwah or whether they haven't heard of Yahuwah. Nevertheless, They let the opportunity pass. Continue on, sir.
For whom he did foreknow, I'm at 30. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And when he called, them
Sorry,
he
don't you go
also
out that door.
justified. And whom he justified,
Well, you better wait.
them he also esteemed. What shall we say then to these things? If Allah is before us, who can be against us? He that spared not his own son.
He didn't do what?
Spared not his own son.
What else?
But delivered him up for us all. How shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
So you look at that, right? So because he gave his son up freely to us all, he'll freely give us all things, which is pertaining to that image. What are some of the parts of the image of Yahusha that exist? Pardon me for a second, sir. Pardon me for a second. Get a hold of yourself. Don't come over here with that. Dang, this nigga got chocolate on his shirt. Sit there and be quiet. No, not at all.
Hey,
We'll look at the word for image in Genesis, right? The word for image is saling, and it's a semblance or a resemblance, a likeness. So we know that. We read it last night. In John 14, he said, if you seen me, you seen who? You seen him also. So what was he talking about when he said that? He was talking about his actions or his works, the things that he did. That's how he's got to conform you to that same image. Yahusha said he was a faithful witness. He was a true witness. He was Kadesh. He was harmless. He put his trust in him who judges righteously. He was long-suffering. He was merciful. He was abundant in goodness and truth. He was all of these things. That's what it means. That's why you say, be ye like your Father in heaven is perfect. So take on his image. If you take on his image, you take on his character. That's why I told you last night. You can change your character. You can't change your personality. The word of Elohim is supposed to change your character. It won't change your personality, though. You'll still be you. When Jacob put on that goat's hair, he was still Jacob. Nevertheless, he put on the firstborn. He was still Jacob. And he got the blessing. You can put on Yahushua HaMashiach, you still going to be you. But inwardly, you're not going to have the same character. People have the same character because they utterly refuse to change their character. They utterly refuse to change their ways and doings. That's why the book tells you to be renewed in the ruach of your mind. So you have to change your thoughts. If you don't change your thoughts, you're going to be the same person because you're going to do the same stuff. A nigga who got the word in them is not going to continue in the same behavior patterns that they had their entire life. You're going to change them because now the word of Elohim directs you, because now you have the mind of Yah and not the mind of you. That's what nigga be messing up at, because you still trying to fight and keep your mind and have Yah's mind at the same time. Shoot, your carnal mind is going to win every time, because you're not going to want to do what the word says. You're going to want to do what your flesh tells you to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. The book tells you this. Does not the word say the carnal mind is not subject to the law of Elohim, and neither indeed it can be. So that means you have to change it. You have to go from a carnal mind to a spiritual mind. The carnal mind always wants to do what feels good. When you look at just like this here, right? We just messing with her, but it's in reality. You want to build muscle and lose weight. Your carnal mind says, let me eat this cake or these cookies because that's what I like. That would feel good. The spiritual mind will tell you, I can't eat these cakes or these cookies because I have an objective to reach. Carnal mind will tell you, I know I work for myself, so my salary is depend on how much I hustle. The carnal mind say, stay in the bed and sleep and watch television because that feels good. That's the easy thing to do. The carnal mind will always want to do what's the easiest to do, because what's usually the easiest to do is what feels the best. What's usually the spiritual mind wants you to do is what compared to the carnal mind is the most difficult thing to do, and you don't necessarily get the good feeling and result from it immediately. It usually comes down the line, and people don't have the patience to wait for it. So I'll choose what feels good and which is easier now. So then you end up taking yourself through unnecessary heartache and tribulations that you cause for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that could have all been avoided if you just would have chose the difficult path from the jump street and just wrote it on out. You know what I'm saying? That's what Israel did repeatedly. The easy thing was to go be like the nations, and that's why we're in Jacksonville, Florida, and various different locations having this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You good in that? Come on back to Isaiah 64. That's why he was wroth with our iniquity. So he didn't spare his son because he was that angry. Because remember, iniquity is lawlessness. See, he didn't simply say he was wroth with our, because transgression is rebellion. See, we committed all three. Remember, we went over that before. There's a difference between sin. There's a difference between transgression. There's a difference between iniquity. Some people are workers of iniquity. Straight lawlessness. They're just evil. You know what I'm saying? Some people are transgressors. They're rebels. And some people are just sinners. They just in a perpetual state of sin. They perpetually commit sinful acts. There's a difference between the three. For the most part, most people are transgressors and the workers of iniquity. If you kind of slice up the population, because most people are rebels, and the rest of them are just evil. And then some people they sinners. They just sin. You know what I'm saying? Most people are rebels. I know what's right, and I choose to do what I want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then some people are just evil. Majority of people are just evil. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say the love of many wax cold, so iniquity shall abound. Evil people. That's why you got the world going crazy, because a man doesn't want to kiss another man who thinks he's a woman. You know what I'm saying? No, nigga, you're not a woman. I don't care what you paid to get your penis tucked inside your pelvis. You are still a man. I don't kiss men. Well, if you didn't know I was a trans man, well, once I found out, nigga, I'm gonna punch you in your face and then go about my business. Because I like real women. A woman who when she came out of her mother's womb, she had a womb too. See, this way you kill this nigga. You know how we know you're not a woman, sir? You know how you're not a woman? How? Because you don't have eggs or a uterus or a fallopian tube.
Hey.
So you're not a woman. If you can have a baby right now, if somebody can inseminate you and get you pregnant right now, then I will consider you to be a woman. But since no one can get you pregnant, you are not a woman. There's semen in you, sir. You have, regardless if you get your testicles removed, you still have the ability to produce semen. You have testes, sir.
No, they don't know. That's the procedure.
Yeah, they can say that. That semen still being produced. That's definitely not vaginal secretions coming out of you, boy.
I thought once they take your nuts off,
I mean the testicles itself, but the organs and the glands that produce seminal fluid, they don't go nowhere.
Hey, lay down.
You know what I'm talking about? They still there. He ain't got no estrogen in his body. He don't have a menstrual cycle every month. This nigga's not finna go through menopause. You're not a woman. You know what I'm saying? And if a woman say she a man, I got the penis to prove it. Can you ejaculate though? You cannot. Do you have a seed? You do not. Can you impregnate a woman? You cannot. You're not a man. You've convinced yourself in your mind that you are a man. But when you stand before Yahuwah, he gonna let you know very, very quickly that you were a woman. And that you were a man. Because see, Genuine better than me. I've seen the clip. He handled it very, very diplomatically. Don't try to laugh it off and move on out of the way with it. I'd have beat that punk up.
I probably won't his first time, that's why.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, he's in the industry where he probably deals with that. Absolutely. I'd have beat that sissy up, though. You better find you somebody to play with. You know what I'm saying? I already told you I don't like men. I ain't no man. One, I'm looking at your face. You definitely a man, because you got to be one of the ugliest niggas I ever seen. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a man, you the ugliest woman I ever seen. You know what I'm saying? But don't put your mouth on me, cuz. I don't know what you've been doing with it. You know what I'm talking about? And that show you how evil the world is, because these niggas came up with a new term and said you transphobic. How do I have a phobia of a confused individual? I'm not scared of this nigga. I prefer to date real women. Oh, he said DC wants to know why women are offended by that, because they know what it likes to have a real vagina. I think most women don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care if a nigga think he a woman. I mean a man. You want to be a man, that's you. But I know one thing: none of them want to be. They don't want to be black. I can tell you that. You ain't never seen nobody say, "I want a black transplant."
What? White women?
I was thinking white women.
Well, them white women want to be black for real.
Yeah, I seen a little ugly German lady who did all that. But guess what though? She don't want to come live where we live and deal with what we deal with.
And Rachel.
Yeah, she won. But see, that was a transplant in her brain. She didn't get a skin change.
Her shirt too. Her shirt was like,
Oh, the lady who worked at the NAACP that was telling people she was black, but she was really white. She the only one. That's the only person I ever seen, a white woman I ever seen in my life say, and she's still going hard 2 years later talking about she black.
yeah,
She said, I'm black.
She redid the shirt. Her shirt was called.
What about that little retarded white girl that be talking retarded?
Oh, he talking about the little skinny white girl.
The skinny white girl said, I'm black.
Yeah.
She really think she.
Hey,
Advertise white girls, they be thinking they black. They done struggle with us, bro.
I mean, some of them do. You got some people that identify with our culture.
Niggas though.
Yeah.
But you already know that though. Even in our text, you have strangers cleave on to you, but ain't too many white people running talking about, you know what? Give me some surgery so I can change my skin tone. Cause see the ones that's white that pretend to be black, see, you know what they can always do? They can go back to acting white. You know what I'm saying?
Some of them trash ones don't even know how.
That's true, but what I'm saying is but regardless of what, their skin pigmentation is always the same. I can't swap him out. I can't swap this out. I'm black forever, wherever I go. You know?
That's a good t-shirt.
What's that?
Black forever.
Straight up. I'm black forever, wherever I go, no matter where I go at, nigga. You know how some white people don't think you black when they see your name and they talk to you, they don't want to fool with you no more. They done did studies about that. Like people calling to rent or buy houses and call and use a white name or what they perceive to be a commonly used white name, and the people are, oh yeah, we got a house for rent. Oh, this, that, there, and the third. Come with what is perceived to be a black name. We don't have nothing for rent. I've seen these people have done studies about this to bust people, because you have the Equal Opportunity Housing Act. They're not supposed to do that. So periodically they do little stings, see who keeping the law, because that's a federal violation. You could get your whole business cracked from all them fines. Like, you're not going to necessarily get locked up, but the bad publicity and the fines will be so damaging to your business that it'll put you out of business. Come on. Where you at? Come on, Isaiah 64:5.
It says, Thou meetest him that rejoices and worketh righteousness, and those that remember thee in thy ways. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned. In those is continuance we shall be saved. But we are all as an unclean thing, and our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away.
Yep.
And there is none that calleth upon thy name, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee.
Yep.
For thou hast hid thy face from us,
Yep.
and hast consumed us because of our iniquity.
Yep.
But now, O Yahuwah, thou art our Father.
Thou art who?
Our Father.
And what else?
We are the clay, and thou art our potter.
So he's your maker. Now let's go back to Jeremiah 18, because all this saying is how he delivered you out of miry clay. Laying there like he finna shoot a porno.
Better cut it out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make your butt about 17 shades darker. That's what he want.
We at 18 what?
Jeremiah 18.
We at verse 4. It say, and the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter.
They were what?
Marred in the hand of the potter.
Let's see what that word for marred is. Cause we finna mar somebody's butt over here.
Cut it.
Cut him. They call him marred too.
Ruin.
That is to destroy, to corrupt, to go to ruin, or to decay, or to be spoiled, to pervert, or to deal corruptly, or to destroy. And the word is shakath. So he said the vessel he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. How was the clay marred in the hand of the potter? That would mean we would need to start back from the beginning to see how the clay was marred by the hand of the potter, would we not? Genesis 2 and 5.
says, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, Yahuwah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up in the midst of the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahuwah Elohim formed man out of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
He became a what?
A living soul.
Where did he make this man from?
The dust of-
So he made him from the clay then, did he? So how was this man marred in the potter's hand? Because we're going to have to answer, and we need to answer it with the text, no general rationalizations or answers. How was this clay marred in the hand of the potter? Because you clearly just seen the potter make this clay. How was it marred? How was it destroyed, and how was it ruined? We read it last night, actually. And actually, the answer is a lot more simple than you would think it is. It's actually very simple.
When he beat him and killed him.
No, I'm talking about right here. He said that the potter, the clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So that means to destroy or to ruin or to corrupt. How is from what you just read, how did he do that right there? Because it's right there. The answer is actually right there in what you read. And those 3 verses from 5 through 7, the answer to my question is right there in them verses. Because Jeremiah 18 says that the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. That means destroyed, to corrupt, or to ruin. So we had to go back to the beginning. When the potter made the clay, how was it destroyed, corrupted, or ruined? Considering that we talking about that he delivered you from the terrible pit and from the miry clay. All right, I ask you a question. What was Adam made from again? He's made from clay, right? Now let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 37. It was corrupted from the moment that he made it. Because what was it made from? It was made from the earth. So it was already corruptible from the jump street. Yeah, it was already corrupt. It's already in his hand. It was all because he wasn't made eternal.
I'm looking at Mars, like destroyed. That was Corinthians what?
30 and 38. Make it 37. I mean, it was destroyed because he was already going to destroy that carnal man and make a new one. Which we didn't read that because that's coming in the next. Well, that's in the continuation of verse 4, what we read, and how he had to make another vessel. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 15 and 37. I'll read that verse 4, Jeremiah 18, the rest of it. It's saying, the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter, so he made again another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter. You see what I'm saying? Because that first vessel was already destroyed, not because Yah did anything to destroy it, but because what it was made from.
I was gonna say that she can and that she shall return. That's what I was gonna say. But
That's what I'm saying. It's made of something that is going to be destroyed. It's made of something that is corruptible. It's made of something that's going to decay because it was made of the earth. So therefore it was marred. That's how the vessel was marred. That's how the first Adam was marred in the potter's hand, because it was corruptible. So he said, I had to make another one. This one was going to be incorruptible. And then we could still take that and apply it to Mashiach himself, because he was one type of vessel. And then he made him another vessel. And we actually going to look at that. See, that's how it happens to you. That's why you hit your head. Them cries ain't even real either, man. Come on, man. 1 Corinthians 15:37.
It said, and that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain.
Well, back me up to 35. Hey, hush, boy. Hush. That's all it is. A little tight blanket. Make that verse 35. Just a little tight
It
blanket.
said, but some men will say, how are the dead raised up?
How the dead what?
Are raised up.
Yes, sir.
And with what body do they come?
What body do they come with?
Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die.
Except it what?
It die.
Except it what?
It die.
Now pause. Galatians 4:1. So for something to be made alive, what has to happen? So in order for you to receive the Ruach, guess what has to happen? So not just that, you have to die to yourself. Not just your sins. The whole physical carnal nature itself, that has to be crucified. It has to be eliminated. Remember, he said, except a grain of wheat fall on the ground, it abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. So if you don't take up your stake and follow this man and crucify yourself with him, then you cannot be made alive. See, we think it's not a great magical formula that needs to be executed in order to receive the Ruach. It only takes two things: belief and self-denial, or crucifixion, so to speak. Dying to yourself, dying to the world. That's all it takes. It don't take nothing other than that. Go ahead. I would have cried too. You'd have picked me up.
Galatians 1.
4-1.
It says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be master of all. But it is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father.
Yes, sir.
Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. And when the fullness of the time was come, Elohim sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law.
And if he was made of a woman made under the law, what was he made of? Flesh. So he's marred in the potter's hand because he became. Remember last night, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. So he took on him not the nature of Malachim, but the nature of the seed of Abraham. Go ahead.
It say, I'm at 5. It say, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. And because ye are sons, Elohim has sent forth the Ruach of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father.
So remember how we talked about this last night? I ended with that last night, right? A son of Adam cannot see Elohim and live. Only a son of Elohim can see Elohim and live. Because as long as you in this mortal body and you consider to be a son of Adam, you cannot see him. You will not see him. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to be converted. If you're not converted, you will not meet him. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. Because then he would be a liar. Because he did not lie. That's why he covered himself and didn't let Moses see his face. I can't let you. You'll die. It's not going to happen. Go ahead. Come on back. What was that for that? Mm-hmm.
What did you say? Because at that point Moses was the son of Elohim.
He couldn't have been there. There's no way he could have been. So he'd have died. He was a man. You notice every time they went up, like when they say they saw the Elohim of Yasharal, didn't say they saw his face. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you notice he was very specific that he said, no man can see my face and live. He was very specific about that. You know what I'm saying? That's why Revelation 22 come back around and say, and they shall see his what? His face. And his name will be in their foreheads. Because everyone who is in that position in Revelation 22, that's New Jerusalem. You have been changed. You've been transformed. You're immortal. You're the sons of Elohim. Of course you're going to see his face. Go ahead. Come on.
1 Corinthians 14 and
15.
15.
37.
37. And that which thou sowest, thou sow not to the body that shall be, but bear grain. It may chance of wheat or some other grain. But Elohim giveth it as a body as it pleases him, to every seed his own body. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, and another flesh of beasts, and another of fishes, and another of birds. There is also a celestial body, and bodies terrestrial, but the esteem of the celestial is one, and the esteem of the celestial is one, and the esteem of the terrestrial is another.
Yep.
And there is one esteem of the sun, and another esteem of the moon, and another esteem of the stars, for one star differeth from another star in esteem.
Yep.
So also the resurrection of the dead, it is sown in corruption and is raised in incorruption.
That's where you see the difference. I had to make me one particular way. It made me another particular way. Come on.
It says, so also the resurrection of the dead, it is sown up in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in esteem. It is sown in weakness and raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised in a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body.
Yep.
And so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul, and the last Adam was made a quickening ruach.
So there's a difference. Because the first Adam was marred in the potter's hand. So let's go back to Psalms chapter 40. And you can start it at verse 1 again.
It said, I waited patiently for Yahuwah, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up out of the horrible pit and out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established
He set
my
your feet
goings
where?
Upon a rock.
Upon a what?
A rock.
And what did Hamashiach tell you to do? To build your house upon that rock, because it won't be moved. Go ahead.
And he established my goings. And he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our Elohim. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in Yahuwah.
That's pause, right? He sat back and told you that he brought you out of the miry clay. So out of that murky, deep flesh, he returned you, he brought you out of that. Let's look at Romans 8 and 1. And then we'll start to look at the three examples. Anybody remember those three examples that were sent? Who those three men were?
David.
I sent David, Samson. No, I didn't send Samson. No, didn't send Moses.
Joseph.
Didn't send Joseph. Didn't send Saul either.
He said 3 men were sent.
That I sent to y'all in that text and your mission.
You saw me, David, Saul, and Gideon.
So I sent everybody. Everybody got the same thing. So that's what we're going to do.
Saul.
Oh, I did say Saul. My bad. I'm thinking about David and just forgot all about Saul probably because he's an idiot.
There is therefore no condemnation to them which are in Yahushua Mashiach, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Ruach.
You notice how he say that, how that first vessel, there was condemnation with it because he said it was marred, so I had to make another one. The condemnation is that it's just corruptible. You know what I'm saying? Because if you flesh, you're going to be condemned. Go ahead.
But for the law of the Ruach of life and Elohim, Yahushua made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, that it was weak through the flesh, Elohim sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh.
To give you another vessel. Now we kind of looked at it last night, so it's not necessarily a read and go through it, and we done touched it in Galatians 4 already. It already said in Galatians 4 that Yahushua was made out as a man. But we can look at it in Philippians 2 and 5 on general principle. Let's do that. So we knowing that he was resurrected from the dead and he was made another vessel. This is why the text says, I will not suffer my Kadesh one to see corruption. This is what his hope was. This is what your hope ought to be. That's why we finished with that 2 Corinthians 5. It said, you grown to be clothed with your tabernacle from Shamahim. Because you seek to be another vessel, because this vessel is marred, it's corruptible, it will go away. The soul that's in it shall die. Just like you mentioned, dust you are and dust you shall return, which means your essence has to be changed. You can't remain the same and expect to enter into this man kingdom. You can't get in this man kingdom being lukewarm. You can't be in this man kingdom halfway believing. You either got to be all in or just put the book down, eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you die. Go ahead.
If there be therefore any consolation in the Mashiach, and if any comfort of, you said,
That's fine. Go ahead. Philippians 2 and 5.
okay. It says, and there be any fellowship of the Ruach, if any bowels or mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye may be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and one mind.
The reason why I said that, look at that, you see how you said fellowship with the Ruach. How do you get You got to be on one accord to fellowship with somebody. You know what I'm saying? You can't fellowship. You can't have a fellow friend and y'all not on one accord. You can't be married to somebody and y'all not on one accord. You definitely can't be with the Ruach and you not on one accord with it. Go ahead.
It said, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and one mind. Let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness.
You in Philippians?
Yeah.
I'm almost
He just started from the top.
No, I didn't want to talk. I definitely said verse
thought you said
5. I thought you were reading verse 5, so I was very clear to verse 5.
It said, let this mind be in you, which is also in Yahushua Mashiach, who being in the form of Elohim, thought it not robbery to be equal with Elohim.
Yes, sir.
But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness
So
of men.
what we look at is that he was another vessel, became a marred vessel to turn around and become another vessel again. You ain't got too many people gonna do that. Go ahead.
It said, but it said, and being found in the fashion as a man, he humbled himself.
He did what?
He humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the state.
See, that's the thing that also stopped many people from receiving the Ruach, as they will not humble themselves and become obedient unto death. See, this man was obedient to the point of losing his own life. Niggas ain't obedient enough to lose out for a weekend. You know what I'm saying? To lose out for 15 minutes. Because you got it in your mind, you can bounce back. Yahusha never thought like that. I never entered into his mind that I could take this shortcut or take this pit stop. He humbled himself in every situation unto death. Because you got to remember, his obedience required him to physically die. Your obedience just is asking you to die to your own desires and submit to the word. You ain't even being asked to shed no blood to obey. And niggas can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was wroth because of your iniquity and did that to his son in the first place. You really have to sit back and look at that. Y'all ain't came to not one of us and say you got to die to fulfill your obedience to me. You know what I'm saying? He told Yahusha he had to die to fulfill his obedience to him. Because we ain't read that in Psalms 40. Well, because we pretty much good in Psalms 40. He said, sacrifice and burnt offering you didn't require, but a body you prepared for me. He said, oh Elohim, thy law is in my heart, and I come to do your will. So this man's telling you, your word is in my mind. I came to do what you want me to do, not what I want to do. Why? Because it's just like what we read in Genesis. With the Creator, your desire is to your head. Yahusha's desire was to his head, which was Elohim. Like we read in 1 Corinthians 11, it said the head of Mashiach is Elohim. His desire was to please his head. So then our desire, it should be to, and that's where the obedience to the law come in and make it simple. That's why he said you seeking to be made perfect by the flesh and not by the Ruach, because you seeking to be made perfect by what's of man, so to speak. What you can tangibly touch. You can't tangibly touch faith. You can see the law written down. He put it on 2 tables of stone. You don't need any faith to go see that. You know what I'm saying? If the Ark of the Covenant was still present, if you didn't die, all you had to do was pop it open and look in there, and they were sitting right there. Do you know what I'm saying? But of course, you were going to die before you even got that close to pull that off. But you can't see faith, though. You can't see that. That's not something you can tangibly lay your eyes on. It's not something you can taste. It's not something you can touch. That's something that comes from the inward part of a man, and that's a gift that can only be given by Elohim. So if you've been made complete, whole, and sound by faith, why would you turn around and seek to be made perfect by the law? That's retarded. Continue on, sir. Henry done got robbed by Eugene.
We're at verse 9. Therefore Elohim have also highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, and that the name of Yahushua every knee shall bow, and things in Shamahin, and things of earth, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is the master of esteem, and the Elohim, and of the Elohim of the Father.
That's good right there. So the key point of that, to be able to get that change, because he noticed that he said he exalted him. He exalted him or lifted him up out of the grave because he humbled himself under death. But why would he do that? Because he believed in what he told him, so he made him another vessel. You were a vessel that was marred and corrupted because you were corruptible flesh. So therefore I made you incorruptible flesh and made you a different vessel. So now give me Ephesians 4:17.
It says, this I say therefore and testify of the Master, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk in the vanity of their minds, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Elohim through the ignorance that is in
See,
them.
every last one of us in this room was separated from Elohim because you didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? The problem come in at is when you know better and then you don't do better. See, he gets a little peeved at that. Like he told you in Acts, he winked at the ignorance of men, but now he calls men everywhere to repent. You have to sit back and look at it. Okay, you ain't know you were separate. Because remember, he said his arm is not short that it cannot save, nor his ear heavy that it cannot hear. It's your iniquities which have separated you from your Elohim. So you've been in captivity in this land. You ain't know nothing about nothing. Your people told you about Jesus, or they told you about nothing. Like even case in point, look at this business card. This man say this is his areas of operation. His areas of operation is you are my other me. Unity equals power, which we have no problem with. Number 2, knowledge of self, and then you have balance, which is mayat. And then respect and discipline, the melanated conscious society. Now this man called himself Kefra El. No, Kapira El. Either way it goes, sound like some exotic marijuana from California. The melanated conscious society, right? So you want me to do the balance? Anybody familiar with Mayat? Anybody familiar with Mayat? You know about that?
Is that what the Egyptians?
That's the Egyptian thing. The 42 laws of Mayat and the negative confessions. And then they don't like to talk about with them negative confessions that they were doing some negative stuff. I just see the brother talking about that on the Egyptian hieroglyph walls. They doing autofellatio.
That's why the words say balance. See, you gotta have balance.
Gotta have balance. Like a little boy, it's like a little girl. You know, it's okay. With balance.
Gotta have a little salt, a little pepper.
A little salt, a little pepper. You know.
Gotta have a little sugar, a little spice.
Sometimes you like water. Sometimes you like sticks.
Balance, baby. Universe is balance.
Balance.
Gotta have a little ruach, got a little flesh.
Got a little ruach, a little flesh. But get what our law say? Don't you mix garments, nigga. Don't you mix wine, nigga. Don't you mix.
Rod King, the top big conscious king.
Rod, somebody, why you looking like a grapefruit? You come from no gym.
Right down.
But remember though, right? But then at the same token, somebody said in your law you got to have a just weight and a just balance. But you got to be upright with it, according to the word of Elohim. Not that balance. I'm dead serious, man. They got that dude, and the dude said autofellatio wasn't homosexual. Yeah, he said that's not. But another dude with clown, he said if it ain't homosexual, it's definitely depraved. It's definitely perverse.
That was a bunch of millions.
You know why everybody loved that fake conscious king and that balance of Mayat? It ain't no standard to it.
I was just gonna say,
with free living.
With the teachings of the Egyptians, they don't got no punishment, no nothing.
But it ain't even just that. You got okay. Let's just transport ourselves into the mind frame of black people. You see this book, right? You see this book. They feel like a Caucasian gave you this book. They feel like that the book was given for the controlling of the human population. Now I've told y'all this before. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard because nobody actually follows what's written in it. So who's being controlled by it?
Or teach niggas to follow all what's in it.
You know what I'm saying? But even if let's just put the teach part out to play. Ain't nobody even following it. So who's being controlled? Because you got punks and adulterers and fornicators and liars and thieves who stand in front of people holding this book every week and don't follow it. So who's being controlled by it? Then you say white people gave it to you to control you and they don't follow it. They get in the political realm and just say they Christians just to say it because they know the mass public will eat it up. Oh, he's a Christian man. That's a God. Donald Trump said he was a Christian. Everybody in America knew before he ran for president. This has got to be one of the top 50 whoremongers who ever lived. Do you know what I'm saying? This man is this is a man who said he would have sex with his own daughter. But because white man thing. You know what I'm saying? And stood up and said, I'm a Christian. And you got people walking around here saying he's a God-fearing man. What God do he fear? And he got money. Man, he don't even care about money. You know what Donald Trump's God is? It's pride and ego. Like, you know, people throw the narcissist term around loosely just because you got a lot of people because of social media and the internet now who throw around psychological terms. So now people think they experts in it. But that man is the pure definition of a narcissist. A lot of people get called narcissists and they're not even close. Most people don't even know what it requires to be a narcissist or a psychopath or a sociopath for that matter. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not very many people on the planet that actually fit into the qualifications. Most people who people think are narcissists are really selfish.
What's a narcissist?
A narcissist is somebody who has no sense of empathy, love, or nothing to another person. They're really self-motivated, self-loved, and self-conscious. Everything has to revolve around them. A narcissist will come in a room and suck all the attention towards them. A A narcissist will come at you and destroy you completely and then blame you for your own destruction of which they created in the first place. A narcissist has no ability to have any sympathy or empathy towards another human being. They're incapable of it. You know what I'm saying? And not too many people fall into that category. Most people are just selfish pricks, and that's about it.
I thought it was like unless it would benefit themselves.
I mean, it does, but really, I could
You know what I'm saying?
give you the clinical definition.
He only gonna, if he do look out for somebody else, it's gonna be
He's gonna
own self benefit.
Yeah, he definitely gonna get a benefit
Really
from it.
trying to look out for the person. It's really at the end of the day about himself.
I mean, arrogance don't necessarily make you a narcissist, because you can be arrogant and not be a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? The balance.
Boys, little girl.
Now listen here, right? The actual definition of narcissist is someone who has an excessive or erotic interest in oneself and one's physical appearance. You know what I'm saying? But when you actually start getting into the actual personality disorder, it's a little different. They lack empathy for other people. They need to be admired. They can be described as arrogant, self-centered, manipulative, and demanding. They also have grandiose fantasies of their own success, beauty, and brilliance, and are convinced that they deserve special treatment, among other things. They exaggerate their own importance. They're preoccupied with fantasies of success, power, beauty, intelligence, or ideal romance. They require constant attention and admiration. They have unreasonable expectations of favorable treatment. They believe they're special and can only be understood by other special people or institutions. They take advantage of others to reach their own goals. They disregard the feeling of others and lack empathy. They are envious of others or believe other people are envious of them. And they show arrogant behaviors and attitudes, among many other things. And some people may have those attributes, but they may not be narcissistic.
So I thought about a lot of. I thought about that.
You know what I'm saying? Because most people who are actually narcissistic really have an abnormally low level of self-esteem and self-worth and self-value. So this is what they do to inflate themselves to make themselves feel better about themselves. But the other things that they mention are usually just points that some people hold, and they really just got low self-esteem. So they have to try to inflate themselves to make themselves feel better about themselves. Most people who have some people can be considered narcissistic who are actually confident in themselves, and they could care less what anybody thinks or says about them. But the number one key thing is the lack of empathy. Oh shoot, it's too late for that. You're telling me that. You know what I'm saying? But the lack of empathy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who can't actually put themselves in the shoes of another person and understand their pain or what they're dealing with, or can't even show any sympathy. You know what I'm saying? So you have to pay attention to that, because that's like saying, but you got some people who are like that and they just selfish. That doesn't make them narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Go ahead. Where you at?
Little Ephesians. I thought we were doing that.
No, we're not even close. Go ahead.
It says, we're at verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the
No,
Lord.
we were not in verse 3. We were in verse 17 to start.
Oh,
I don't know how you got to verse
I thought
3.
at the top.
No, you did not.
Oh, I did. I'm at 17.
You're too young for have Alzheimer's.
It says, this I say therefore, to testify in the Master, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk in the vanity of mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Elohim through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness.
Now I'm going to ask y'all a question. How many of y'all worked lasciviousness before you knew better? Every individual in this room. Because I don't think none of you had sex after you were married. Because lasciviousness is lust. And every individual in here has committed some lustful act in some shape, form, or fashion. Y'all don't heard of that lewd and lascivious behavior? That don't just necessarily mean to do that to a child. Because if you was to get caught having sex in public, they would lock you up for lewd and lascivious behavior.
Lewd.
Every individual in, how many of you had sex after you were married? Nobody. How many people in this room actually know somebody who got married and didn't have sex before they got married? That's in the word. Do you know what I'm saying?
Nobody.
But she not married though.
Oh, you say married, but I was saying before.
She not married.
Wait. Mommy wanted to know. Mommy wanted to know.
You said it already. Like how many people you know do that? You know what I'm saying? That goes back to that conversation because see I was going to bring this up too. See that also goes back to talking about your desire be to your husband, not your boyfriend, your husband. You know what I'm saying? Because as a man, you don't have obligations to please or serve any woman that is not your wife. Nor does a woman have any obligations to please any man that's not her husband. But if you're in a situation where you courting somebody, you do things out of respect. And most definitely when you get married, everything you do should be out of respect to your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Like if you with somebody, you like, you know what? I don't gotta tell this nigga I'm finna go around here to my friend's house and it's gonna be dudes over here. Out of respect, I'ma tell him. But if that nigga say you can't go over there, I know I can't do a lot of things, but I'm finna go over here. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down, because as a man, what makes you feel like you have that level of authority over that woman? Because you say that's your girlfriend. If you want that level of authority over that woman, make her your wife, and then you can tell her where she can and can't go, and who she can and can't see. But as a man, why would you want to dominate and rule over somebody like that anyway? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, because I'm speaking for me. I don't have to do that. You can do what you want to do. But if I catch you with a penis in your mouth, you can't live here. You gotta find somewhere to stay. You gotta find you somewhere to stay. Cause you can't stay here. I ain't gonna say you can't come back.
I think how good that sounded to people.
I can't say you can't come back. I ain't saying that. But you can't live here though. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight. No, not tonight. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Cause you can't. That's why we read that law last night. The only two men in a woman's life who she is bound to is her father and her husband, and that's it. A woman ain't bound to listen to, and then you should already know that a woman don't got to listen to her husband if he's asking her to do anything that's ungodly. She doesn't have to follow that instruction because her obedience is to her God before her husband. You know what I'm saying? You're around here, your husband talking about he want to go down the Hershey Highway, you got to tell the nigga go on about the business.
What?
Little side of me. Little side of me. You ain't never heard about the Hershey Highway?
What's the true definition?
Good for you. Salad tossing is eating the booty like groceries.
Cause you know, okay.
Oh, y'all didn't know what salad tossing was?
Yeah, you know.
Little jam, put a little jam on it.
Yeah.
Because that came from a Chris Rock that stand up where he was talking about niggas up the road getting their salad tossed, and people like, I like to get my salad tossed. Yeah, nigga tossing your salad, you like to get your booty licked.
Yeah, like that man said, little jam, put a little jam.
Good morning, Shaq.
I don't know why I don't know. Oh no.
Is it a wrestling match?
Yeah, I still don't get where they get.
Yeah,
I don't know where the terminology came from, but they call it tossing salad. That's a 90s term. Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager when that term came out, so I hadn't been to prison yet, so I don't know where they came up with that from, but that's what they call it. That's what they call it. Now y'all just say it's groceries.
All groceries.
That's what.
None of that needs to be related to food. I'm just saying.
That's why. Probably because they make it.
No, I won't. Let me say. See, he just asked this question, right? Hold on, y'all got to come.
I'm gonna put it back at
Check it. Now he's saying, will I not waste my time with a woman if I suspect she's cheating? If I have to be with somebody and I'm thoroughly concerned about if they're being committing infidelity, then I'm going to leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? If I have to walk around wondering where my woman is at and what she's doing and who she's with, I have a problem. You know what I'm saying? How am I going? I can't even accomplish anything in life. I wonder who she with, and I'm finna call her and see. She can tell you I ain't with nobody. You know, y'all see the little videos. I believe most of them be fake. Y'all see them when we call a nigga, she getting pounded down, talking to this nigga on the phone. Who in there with you? Nobody. You whore.
That's not be funny to them too.
Like that junk ain't cool. Anything for a laugh. Some of that junk be real though.
Nah, that junk do be real.
Yeah.
They don't know. It might be that extent, but they be riding in the car.
You know what I'm
At
saying?
dinner.
I'm not finna do all of that. If I'm that concerned with what a person is doing, then I'm not gonna be with them. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what's going to end up happening? You're gonna drive yourself crazy. That too. But I would hope that you would respect me enough not to play with me like that. And if I find out you playing with me like that, I gotta throw you in the dumpster now. Or I gotta take you back where I found you at. Y'all heard that song? Remember that song? I saw you walking in the rain. I'm gonna take you back to your mama's house. That's for real though. That ain't no way to live your life. You know what I'm saying? You should be with somebody who you know is on the up and up. And everybody should respect each other enough to let them know this is what I got going on and this is what this is, so there ain't no surprises. You know what I'm saying? And that way it ain't no issue because you got out in front of it. And it won't be no problem. But I ain't finna do that. I told you I was 17 years old and I was 19 actually. And I wasn't even thinking about that girl like that. I had just gotten in an argument with her. And the nigga I was working with at Lee's kicking, he was like, who your old lady with right now? I say, nigga, I don't know. What's she doing right now? Nigga, I don't know. Then what you care for? I'm like, nigga, I don't. I mean, I don't know why you assume that. And not to say that you don't care, but I'm not concerned about where she's at and what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm with you, then I'm with you. And if you with me, then you with me. And if I find out that you unfaithful, then I gotta cancel you. You know what I'm saying? Cancel this chick and get me another one. That's what Nino Brown said, didn't it? Cancel and I get another one. Now, if you're married, shoot, you're just gonna be by yourself till y'all reconcile or she dies or you die. Somebody got to go or we gonna work this out. 9 times out of 10, nigga be like this here, we gonna go and get the iron and get the wrinkles out. You know what I'm saying? But it's about being an adult. You know what I'm saying? If you're an adult, mature people don't operate like that. You only operate like that when you're working from a level of insecurity and immaturity. You know what I'm saying? Or if an individual is doing things that cause you to think that something could be occurring. And if you don't want that to happen, don't do things that could cause somebody to question your loyalty. Because you don't want to operate. That's regardless if you're married. You don't want your friends questioning your loyalty. We don't have to question y'all's loyalty at all. So he shouldn't be questioning our loyalty to him. So that's how we have to look at it. That's why he say abstain from all appearance of evil, because you don't want nobody questioning your loyalty where your loyalty lies. Continue on, sir.
It says, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lasciviousness to work all uncleanliness with greediness. Mm-hmm. But ye have not so learned the Mashiach.
See that heard it said you have not what?
So learned the Mashiach.
Yahushua ain't taught you that.
It so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him as the truth is.
Now who remembers what the characters for Panem was? Anybody remember what that was? I know that's a very broad question. It's the Pa, it's the Nun, it's the Yod, and the Meme. So it's the words of the right hand that gives you the seed of life. So if you had to seen him, and what he said, read that again.
He said, it's so that ye have heard him and have been taught.
So if you had heard of him, then guess what you would have? That would have been that the Pa right there, wouldn't it?
Spoken, you heard?
You spoke and he heard, then you would have been taught by him. And what would have taught you? The Ruach would have taught you, because remember he said the words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life. So that's that water or that word coming out of his mouth, or that spirit coming out of his mouth, would have taught you as well, which would have caused you to be that seed. What is that seed? That seed would be Mashiach, would mean there would be a conversion. Remember, don't every Hebrew to push the law to you, love this quote Psalms 19, the law of Yahuwah converts the soul. But we should look at the Torah, or behold, the head that is sacrificed causes you to convert your soul, causes you to be born again, meaning you have to die to yourself. How did Yahushua become another vessel? He died. How will you become another vessel? You have to die. If you do that, you can be born again. See, people made it think you born again when you get baptized and you jump up there and you wet and you do all the type of stuff, and then niggas rolling around on the carpet and doing all this old crazy stuff, but you still the same nigga you were before you got here. Niggas think you born again. I believe in Jesus. I've been born again. Born again to what? You still the same nigga. So no, you ain't been born again. You still the same nigga. With the same nigga thoughts and the same nigga ways. With the same nigga friends. Come on, man. Same nigga ways.
We at 22.
Look what he tell you to do.
That you put off concerning the form of conversation.
Put off your old conduct of the old man.
Which is corrupt.
Which is what?
Corrupt.
Now you see how he said the first vessel was marred and he had to make another one? Because it was corrupt. You got to put it off. Come on.
According to the deceitful lust.
According to what?
The deceitful
So
lust.
what made that first vessel corrupt, or made that first piece of clay marred? It was the deceitful lust, the lust of the flesh. That's what made it corrupt. Because at the end of the day, what did Eve go after the knowledge of good and evil for? Because it was good to the eyes. It was the lust of the flesh and the pride of life. You see the difference of why you got to become another vessel? Because this right here is this, the lust in it are deceitful. Pause. Hebrews 3:15. Because sin will get you now. And we'll get Romans 7 after that. It'll get you. That's why I said that. You know what, Eve? That's what. Guess what? You know, a lot of women done got deceived. Cause what? Cause that nigga was handsome and he talked nice. Talking all smooth and baby, you so pretty, you so fine, and then she was already enraptured by how he looked. Next thing you know, he done talked you out your booty. You got a wet behind and a dry pocket. Mike got a baby left behind, and this nigga done poofed and disappeared like Houdini on you. Yeah, dry pocket and a wet behind. There's a lot of women that got left out here with a dry pocket and a wet behind. That nigga done left your booty wet and that left you a corn. Who? Shoot, that is cold out there.
Every day though.
Every day a woman done woke up with a wet behind and a dry pocket. You know the worst part of the world? We used to clown about this in the street. I'm not condoning this. I'm not condoning this. When we was in the street and them girls be around here getting ran through, I say, come on, baby, you need to get that nigga your 20, 40, 50, 60 dollars to get something. You waking up with a wet behind and a dry pocket? You ain't even got nothing for this. Nigga done ran through you. You know what I'm talking about? You going home, twisting and twisting, and you ain't got nothing. You can't even get your Happy Meal from McDonald's, baby. Come on, man. And you let these niggas jump up and down, you better get paid for it. If you're going to be a hoe, be a paid hoe. That's what we used to tell them. Yeah, if you're going to be a hoe, be a paid hoe. Don't be no free hoe.
I ain't like somebody get that check.
She felt like she got what she wanted. She got it.
I know she did, because I used to tell them.
Hey, what you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
I'm dead serious though. You know the worst thing in the world? A woman laying next to a nigga, he jumping up and down in, and she gotta ask a nigga to borrow some money. I need to pay my light bill. Well, what that nigga doing? You screwing? What that nigga doing?
I'm in a bind, Nate, I'm in a bind.
Yeah, he done binded you too. He finna bind you. I'm dead serious though. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I'm dead serious, bro. When we was in the street, and you know what I'm saying? I wasn't sleeping around like that. But I'm talking about, I see some of them girls, I know them girls getting off. I'm like, baby, he ain't getting you no money. You ain't got no money? No, I ain't getting no money. So you done let 5 niggas hit you this week and you ain't got 5 pennies to rub together. Are you serious? Shoot, at least put $20 on that monkey. At least is it worth a dub? Shoot, baby, you out here getting knocked down for a blunt and a cheesecake. You got to do better.
Black and bill.
A black and a bill, straight up. Well, I know when I was locked up in Tallahassee, well, them niggas telling me them girls were getting off for a chicken box and some gas money. I said, come on, man.
They were, when I was in high school, girls was getting off.
A chicken box, nigga get you for a 2-piece and a biscuit with no drink
Ride home.
You swiping in the cab.
And ride home.
and a ride home.
Then take me back to the house.
They take me back to the
Hey, I like I said, how you don't value your body enough? You let a nigga knock you down for a black and mild and a Colt 45.
Nah, not for a black man. So still at it.
Shoot, I know plenty of boy. Niggas round my way say niggas round my way used to be like, if she smoke black and mild, she a freak, bro. I'm finna try. That's how niggas used to feel. Niggas say, boy, she smoke black, she a freak. I say, boy, where do you niggas come up with this? You know what I'm saying? That's how niggas feel. I know this here though. As a man, I ain't really had no issues with it, but I know dudes that didn't want to mess with a woman who smoked or drank, cause they like that was a doorway for a nigga to snake in and knock you down. Oh, you like to smoke blunt? Nigga know I pop up with some weed, smoking up with a shit. I get her to that booty in there. She like to get a little alcohol in. I get her drunk enough. I knock her down. She ain't gonna know. That's how niggas feel. A nigga look. All a man is looking for is an entryway. But I mean, you can say that though. But I'm just telling you, as a man's looking for an entryway. You like to smoke, you like to drink, you pop pills, you snort coke. They gonna provide that for you, and they gonna consistently provide that for you to the point. See, Chris Rock had the little joke: ain't no woman got no male friends. It's just penis in an emergency glass. And he waiting for you to break that glass so you can go ahead and get some. Because you know what they tell you? A shoulder to cry on ends up being a penis to ride on. That's how niggas roll. It's not too many dudes that feel like they can actually be a friend with a woman and not want to have sex with them. Oh, you ain't never heard that before? Yeah, that's what they say. You got a lot of niggas that wait till a woman get in a vulnerable position and slide through. I knew that girl. I know he wasn't nothing, girl. He a horrible nigga. She riding there weeping. Oh, he's there for me. Next thing you know, I got that. He hitting home. I finally hit that hole, boy.
Yeah, that sounds like love and hate.
That's what niggas do. That's what niggas do. That's what niggas do. I told you my homeboy used to put ecstasy pills in the crab pot. Used to put them in the Remy bottle. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you hungry? You thirsty? I got something for you. Why do y'all think you think niggas come up to y'all when y'all used to be in the club buying you drinks because they thought you were pretty? They trying to get you intoxicated so they can take you home.
Come on.
Okay, if you think a man buy anything for a woman in the club, that he doing that because he being friendly, they hoping you gonna offer. Like a nigga's not gonna be aggressive. You thought that nigga say, ooh.
He ain't gonna say, I'm buy you a drink, let's have sex. He gonna wait for the right time and the mood to come in.
On
the way out the door, nigga trying to catch. Cause guess what niggas say, man, I bought that whole drink, but she didn't even give me my number. That's the first thing a nigga say when they leave. Stinking hoe. You know what I'm saying? I done bought this whole drink all night. He hoping that. And guess what y'all be doing? And guess what y'all do? Girl, that nigga keep buying me drinks. I'ma keep letting him buy them too. He think he gonna get my number. He ain't getting nothing. Niggas, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all know what it is, man. They don't need the front.
Ain't giving them nothing.
Ain't no need to front. But guess what? If it's a nigga you like, if it's a nigga you find attractive buying you drinks, guess what you doing? Batting your eyes 3-4 seconds longer. Oh, thank you.
Love.
He'll be an Asian fan. He'll talk about your friend a drink too. He'll buy both.
Oh yeah.
See, that's how you roll the dice.
Yeah, you got to buy the whole squad drinks to see.
Yeah, because he greasy. Because guess what? If a man walk up and buy all your friends drinks, the first one jump. That's the who I'm going after.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Come on. Come on.
Preach, preacher.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Look here, man. A man only gonna do something for a woman for one or two reasons. Well, three. One, if he actually considers her to be family. You know what I'm saying? He either wants to be with her in an actual real relationship, or he wants a butt. Cause you think a man doing something out of the kindness of his heart, clearly you ain't been around too many men. You think men hold the door open for women because they just want to hold it? They trying to look at your butt when you walk past.
I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't like that though. I was more of a genuine nigga though.
I ain't saying this here, but guess what though? Most niggas, when they open that door, they trying to catch him a glimpse.
But it depends. If I open the camera, man, open, he was getting him and his wife open because behind.
I mean, most men do though.
That's the proper way to do it. I ain't like holding the door, walk out the door, just to see.
I mean, that's the proper way to do it, and most men do. But a lot of men don't. They trying to catch him a glance.
I don't back open doors for females. Like if there's females behind me, I don't do that. I open the door if I'm coming the other way. So say if I'm going out and she coming in, I open the door and let her walk. I'm not finna see 3 hoes behind me and open the door and just.
Well, I see niggas do it every day.
I'm not finna. That wasn't me. That is how I rock. Yeah.
I see niggas do it every day.
Let the door open for them, and then you keep walking, and they can handle it.
See, Paul, like I said, because I'm honest with you, right?
Ain't that right?
Because I'm honest with you, right? The most men that do stuff of a gentleman level, and these days and time, a woman won't even accept it because they thinking that is something else. These days, you can't even give people no compliment. They think it's something else. That's why don't nobody tell you you're pretty now, and you walk off from them.
That was snatching. Snatching.
That nigga that retarded, man. That nigga's out the book section. Come on, man. I ain't got time for what you niggas. Read that verse again, man. Hey, you ain't missed nothing.
You ain't
missed nothing.
Johnny knows who's him.
Hey, come on.
No, man. That nigga was being funny, and that nigga said the nigga looked like that was coming out the book section. Oh, that was?
Dead serious.
Oh, dang. You know I can't see.
That's why I told you. Keep going. We had 24.
He had on that I'm cheating on my wife hat. That's what I'm tripping on. That's why I didn't think it was him. He had on that I'm cheating on my wife hat. I ain't trying to be seen. Well, Carl was in that bathroom for a long time.
That nigga walked out with confidence.
I feel
Come on, man. I got time for it.
It said that you put on the new man, which is after Elohim, created in righteousness and true Kadosh.
See that? Put that new man on inside of you're a new person, right? So now let's begin the process of what we need to look at. 1 Samuel 10 and 1. I really thought you were playing.
10 and 1. It says, then Samuel took the vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said,
he did what with the oil?
He put the vial upon the vial of oil upon his head.
And did what? And kissed him.
It is not because Yahuwah have anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance. When thou art departed from me.
He said, is it not? So he's saying, I'm doing this because Yahuwah has done this. Not that not should it be done, but I'm anointing you because Yahuwah has chose you to be over the people. Go ahead.
When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin and Zelzah. And they will say unto thee, the asses which I went to seek are found, and lo, thy father has left the care of the asses and sorrows for you, saying, what shall I do for my son?
Mm-hmm.
Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee there 3. I'm sorry.
Leave that alone.
And there shall meet
Leave that alone, you
men going up to Elohim from Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and they will salute thee and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. Mm-hmm. After that thou shalt come to.
He would say what he said they gonna get from their hand. Some bread.
Yeah, 2 loaves of bread.
I told them niggas, boy, you walk around here with I'm finna cheat on my wife hat on. You say you walk around here, I'm finna cheat on my wife hat. I had to. What you mean? That's them hats. You know that's some hats you wear when you don't want to be seen. Ain't nothing but I'm just saying that. Well, really, that's not a black man hat. That's what the white men wear when they don't want to be seen. You see them weird white men got a little bit of money, they cheat on their wife. That's the hat.
I know.
That's the hat they wear. And they pull it down a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm saying white men know what fitted hat. So they know hats always be.
Yeah, they do.
What, fitted?
They do. Some of them do. A lot of them do.
Fitted.
Fitted hats.
That's a golf type hat. Yeah, like that hat. That's what I'm talking about. They wear golf type hats.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is fitted.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's not fitted.
No, I'm saying
white people use me. I don't never see white people wearing them. Yeah.
yeah. So when you see them white men that be walking around, they have their little when they be tricking with them prostitutes. That's the hat they be having on. You ain't seen me, John. You ain't seen me. You ain't seen me. Where your wife at? Don't worry about that. You ain't seen. You tell Mary. I was at the bar. Yeah, the white men like to go to that pool. I had a white dude the other day. Say we came over here to throw darts, man. Now it's 1:30. We got here at 10. That's how this place gets you, man. You just start shooting pool, throwing darts, you don't leave.
That much pool and darts.
It is when you're drinking. Shoot, that liquor go to floor and the white people get loose. You know, white people inhibitions leave quick when they get on alcohol. We know your inhibition left quick. Probably, I hope ain't nobody got no videos you dancing on nobody's tables. Dancing on the bar.
I never got drunk to actually do that.
You ain't never been drunk.
No, for real. I never been drunk.
But you would get a nigga buy you drinks though.
Yeah, and I sip it. I was really young. It was like, what?
So you a legal drinker.
See that shit and pour it out tight.
Yeah, and then I poured it on.
I see her doing that.
I used to do it all the time. Nigga give me a drink. I sip a little Miss Remy, but when you ain't looking,
Yeah.
you pour that out, nigga. I smoke weed.
Yeah.
I smoke weed, nigga. I don't drink. I smoke weed. I guarantee you this here. I ain't breaking that blunt or throwing that on the ground. Smoke that. Come on. Aside Joy. Sit down somewhere.
Oh no. Little Samuel.
Come on. First thing and 10.
We at verse 4. I'll read that. And they will salute thee and give thee 2 loaves of bread which thou wilt receive of their hands.
Yes, sir.
After that thou shalt come to the hill of Elohim. There is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass when thou art come thither to the city that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with psaltery and with tabret and with pipe and harp before them, and they shall prophesy. And the Ruach of Yahuwah will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned to
You should be what? Turned into what?
another man.
You shall be turned into another man. That word for turned in this word is to turn or change oneself, or to be reversed, or to transform oneself. But the word prophecy, how can we take this to something that Mashiach say? Because it say when the Ruach of Yahuwah come upon him, you'll do what? Prophecy. It says right there in verse 6, you'll prophesy. Well, let's look at something, right? John 16 and 10. Exactly. So one of the essences of the Ruach being upon you is a word will be given unto you. Does that necessarily mean that you'll go prophesy and preach? No, that's not what we're angling towards at this particular moment. But that there'll be a word in your heart, though. And that word in your heart will cause you to transform or be converted and be changed. Continue on, sir.
John 16 and 10. Right?
Yeah.
Of righteousness because I go to my Father and you see me no more. Of judgment because the prince of this world is judged. I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Ruach of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth.
He'll do what?
Guide you to all truth. For he shall not speak of himself.
He will not do what?
Speak of himself.
See, that's the key thing about anything with Elohim. Is always going to esteem Elohim and not the individual. Go ahead.
For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that he shall speak.
Mm-hmm.
And he will show you things to come.
Yes, sir.
He shall.
Hold on, he'll show you what?
Things to come.
Ain't that's what you just seen in 1 Samuel 10? Go ahead.
It said, he shall esteem me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore said I, I'm in 15. That he shall take out of mine and shall show it unto you.
Didn't it say the Comforter will bring all things to your remembrance what I have said unto you? Now let's go back to 1 Samuel 10. Now remember, right, this is Saul hearing a word of faith before he's done anything. Has Saul kept any laws at this particular time? In order to receive this Ruach is what I'm asking. Because you know it says Saul was a goodly man. Y'all know what that means when they say he was a goodly man? What is it?
Oh no, he was asking why I said
You know, it said that when he said this goodly man, he had favor. You know, it said he was taller than everybody. He was a handsome guy. People thought he was great. Go to 1 Samuel 9:1, and we'll look at that. And after that, give me Matthew 23 and 25. Because we know how Saul's story ended. How did Saul's story end?
Fell on a sword.
Fell on a sword.
Fell on it. 9-1.
Why he fell on a sword? Because he liked to talk to familiar spirits. You know what I'm saying?
Did he see some armies come at him or something?
Surprise.
And he was like,
Or he was fighting against the Philistines, and he said it was better for me to fall on this sword than to die at the hand of the uncircumcised Philistines. But then, he liked to talk to familiar spirits and just be an all-around idiot.
A little wicked, a little jealous.
A little jealous. See, that's the whole key thing, right? It's like it's here, like, see, and when we look at his, we could say that he was a sinner and a transgressor, or we could say that he was I don't necessarily even say that he was evil. I would say that he was a sinner and a transgressor, because his sin of pride, as he mentioned, his sin of jealousy, because he was jealous of David. You know what I'm saying? His transgressions was his rebellion, because he was told to kill the Amalekites and didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Sit down, Mark.
But could we just sit back and say inherently, based off this testimony, that say he was an evil man? No, I won't give him that. My personal opinion, I won't give him that. Somebody else may feel differently in their viewing of his story. They may very well say he's an evil man. But because the things that he did, that he rebelled against, he thought he was right in doing so. And acting like, I fulfilled the law of you. I did what you told me to do. I slayed all the Amalekites. Well, nigga, what these sheep is I hear back there? And why is this king still alive? Oh, the people. Is that necessarily an evil individual? That's a rebellious, disobedient individual. You know what I'm saying? And then I say his sin of pride, his sin of jealousy. You know what I'm saying? You could even look into the point, because his pride and his jealousy led him to want to murder. Was he necessarily a murderer? No, because he doesn't have an instance of murdering anyone. But because of the jealousy that he had towards David, he wanted to take David out so he could keep his position because of his pride. And that's why pride is so destructive. And then we missed that. We need to get that Hebrews 3:15 real fast, because we definitely didn't read that.
You want that now?
Yes, I would, sir. Because I'm mentioning that, and we're going to... Yeah, we just didn't read it. 3:15. Make it 13.
While it is said today, if you will hear his voice.
While it is said what?
While it's today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart.
Don't do what?
Harden not your heart.
See, that's what people problem is. They hear his voice, but they harden their heart. What else?
As in the day of provocation.
And the day you get tempted.
For some, when they had heard, did provoke.
They did try him.
Howbeit, not all.
Now you see that there right there? He says some, when they heard the word, they tried him. And see, guess what though? Everybody in here know they done seen somebody, maybe even themselves, that when they heard that word, they walked off and they tried you, who were afterwards with some wicked junk they had going on. You know you ain't had no business doing it, and you tried them anyway. You know what I'm saying? And you lucky. And we not say lucky. Let's just say that you're blessed that his mercy endures forever, that he didn't kill you on the spot. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't talking about sinning out of ignorance. You already know you were wrong before you went and bust the move. You heard the word and you hardened your heart to it, and you tried that man. Like he ain't gangster with it. That nigga say, don't never test my gangster. You go, a lot of people every single day, and I ain't talking about people who outside the house. I'm talking about people who say they inside the house. Test this man gangster on a day-to-day basis, like he won't come see you and bust you upside your head on the spot. Because the book tell you that in Ecclesiastes 8:11, because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it is privily in the hearts of the sons of men to do evil. See, a nigga could go commit adultery right now, and because he don't kill you on the spot, you feel like you can do it again. A nigga can go tell a lie right now, and because he don't kill you on the spot, you feel like you could tell another. A nigga could exhibit pride towards another man, and because he don't kill you on the spot for it, you feel like you can continue to be that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that happens, because the nigga look around. He ain't kill me. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe I'll wait till you turn 87 years old and kill you. But then you just thought you died of old age. Then I wake you up, and then I kill you again. Then you'll know, don't play with me. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point.
He'll let you live to 87 thinking you did right and you was forgiven.
But see, no, I'm gonna be honest with you though. Let's just be real. 99.9% of the people that perished, they already know they were going to hell when they were hitting that deathbed. They just convinced themselves that they're not going to hell, because he done gave you over for you to believe that. But deep down in your soul, guess what? They say the last words of Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, was, "Oh no, something's wrong." That's what they say he died. That's what they claim he said before he died. Because he lived his whole life blaspheming the name of Elohim in the tabernacle of Elohim.
Something's wrong.
Now, when it's come time to die, maybe Yahuwah gave him a little vision, a little sneak peek. This show fate. He said he was on his deathbed and said, "Oh no, something's wrong." I know something wrong, Crackle. You'll holler at me when it's time, when it's over. Cause you know, y'all can do that. Just give him a little vision. See, you gotta hit it like the punk on fam. Oh no. You know, some people clown and say, they do that. They had crazy stuff they say happened to you in hell, but that's just TV stuff. But yeah, that's what happened to him. Huh? It's possible because you don't know. He could give you a vision.
He woke up and said that then died or something.
And get what? Y'all probably let him get a sneak peek. This your end. This your fate.
In and out real quick.
In and out. You out this here? I'm sleeping. I'm finna send you to hell, nigga. Holla at me in a few, baby. Sleep tight, cause you ain't gonna be sleeping much longer. Cause you gotta remember, when you wake up out of that sleep, you ain't gonna know how long you been asleep. You know that when you wake up out your sleep now. You might turn around and look at the clock. Dang, I've been asleep 7 hours.
D said once you pass that 30-minute mark,
You don't,
it don't feel like you've been gone.
straight up, everybody done had a sleep where you felt like you was asleep longer than what you was. You were only asleep 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about? Everybody done woke up. I can't believe I slept 10 hours. I must have been tired. Who, boy, I done slept 10 hours before. You go. I know everybody here done did it. When you sleep deprived, boy, you sleep longer than you anticipated. Much longer than when you don't do it as much when you get older, cuz. But shoot. But go enough days without sleep. Or a sufficient amount. And you mess around and doze off and ain't nobody there to wake you up. Yeah, you might go good, because they claim you're supposed to get at least 8. So 10 ain't that long.
Especially when you're using the time right when you're up.
So you got to think about, and if you've been asleep that long, you be like, dang, I ain't believe I've been asleep that long. Most of y'all done woke up and think you were late for work or late for school because you were asleep that long.
Yeah, y'all had that one sleep, y'all just like jerk.
You done jump up, oh, I'm late. Nigga, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you die and you get up out that casket, out that grave, it's going to be the exact same thing. You ain't going to know you've been asleep for 300 years.
But how that's going to work with your body dead?
Because he say he going to regenerate it.
So, like,
what are they going to be? But everybody like 6 feet under, like, what they going to?
Is anything too hard for y'all?
No. I was just asking on the extent of is that gonna be your body that you had before?
I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be old. I don't know if you're gonna be young. But I do know one thing. You gonna pan up in front of that throne. He said, "I know you. Your name, Anton LaVey." That nigga ain't in my book.
Your works that you did.
Oh, like he told you in Revelation 14 and 13. He say, you know what I'm saying? The root of those who are dead in Yahuwah, and they works do follow them. Oh, that stuff follow you, baby. That jump written down. It's already sealed. We just got to pop open the records.
And call them to your remember.
Call them to your remember. You remember that time I caught you beating your meat in the back? Remember that? Remember that lie you told? For some of these people, I'm finna use some extremes on a lot of stuff. Remember them women you raped? Remember them children you molested? Remember that time you were drunk? Remember that malicious action you made? Remember that heart of jealousy you possessed? Remember that spitefulness you executed? Oh, and the best one of them all, you didn't take care of those in your household, you infidel. You ain't take care of your wife. You ain't take care. Oh, you didn't love your wife as I loved mine. You go to hell for that. Because that's not a suggestion. He said love your wife as Mashiach. So if you don't love your wife as Mashiach love his wife, then you have not walked in Mashiach, which means the Ruach couldn't be in you, because ain't nowhere in the world it would be, because he said you're supposed to nurture and cherish your wife. Y'all know what it means to nurture somebody? I know the women know it. Y'all know what it means to nurture somebody? Things that they need, right? So when you look at that, right, because we done talked about this before, right? So when you look at your wife, then you're supposed to invest in your wife. So you're supposed to find out what skills and attributes does your wife have, and you're supposed to nurture them, not put her skills and her abilities on the back burner till you fulfill yours, but you're supposed to nurture hers before you nurture yours. You know why when you do that? Because it's going to turn around and benefit the whole house. You know what I'm saying? Because see, I'm going to tell you something, right? If I'm married to a woman, right, I would encourage that she has a business separate from mine. Because that's hers. And then you know what you do? One thing I can say, well, niggas say what they want to say. Boy, I heard this nigga Damon Dash say when he was married to Rachel Roy, he ran a $2 million debt for years to get Rachel Roy clothing line where it was supposed to be. Because he said it was more important in his mind that he set his wife up before he worried about what he had to do over here. And if I had to lose money to do it, then that's what I was going to do until she was straight. Because you know, because see, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of white people do this more often than not. Even if they wife don't even most of the time they wife run the business while she stay to the house and watch the kids. If the bare minimum, they put her name on the business. So if he dies, okay, right, the lady who owns Heinz Ketchup, that was her husband's. He died and it went to her. And guess what? She just wasn't a figurehead. She actually knows how to run the corporation. Why? Because he showed her how to run it. You know what I'm saying? The dude that owned Little Caesars, he created that with his wife. They own the Detroit Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings. And you know what he did? He taught his wife how to run the company. And he's dead, and guess who runs it? And even if she don't know how to run it, he'll set it up to the position so she knows who to hire somebody who does and just cut my check. Because I'm going to be over here doing it. When you look at a lot of white men that are very, very wealthy, they wives are right there with them in whatever they doing. And they wives may have entities separate from whatever their husband created because they push that and promote that. Because they very rarely want to leave their wife stuck if they die. You know what I'm saying? See, we'll have the mind frame of she got to have her stuff set up and then my stuff set up and then we come together and do it like that versus helping her create that before I create mine. Because your wife is going to help you in whatever you're doing anyway. If she any type of woman, she going. But as we any type of man, you should ask, what is it that you want to do, and then put your money and your energy behind it and support her doing it. That's not that hard to do. Because guess what? Both of y'all eating. Then guess what? She ain't got to be hitting you up talking about, baby, I need some money to go grab some groceries. Because she can pull it out on her own. Then also talk of, I learned this just from studying it. Niggas so dumb, a nigga won't even make their woman 50% owner of their company knowing that you can get all manner of certifications towards getting certain jobs with the government because you got a 50% woman owner. White people do this. Because white people know they're not in a minority class, but a woman-owned business is a minority class, and they will make their wife 50% owner of it. She may not do anything in the business whatsoever. Her name just on it. And they write her a check and all that. Because that's how they operate. They play the game different. You got to play the game different. You know what I'm saying? You have to set it up. We don't do that. Then when you look at Yahuwah, he did that for her. He seen, let me set her up. Then in turn, she'll support me because I supported her.
Mark.
That's what he did.
Sit down.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Sit down.
He deceived. So guess what? And I'm glad you said that, right? Because it's a couple things. Because Muffin and D can tell you that they do that I ain't necessarily sat and learned to do that I should learn how to do. Because if you're the CEO of a company, you're supposed to know how to do every single solitary thing in the business. And that there's not a single solitary job in the business that is beneath you to do. Because if it has to be done, who has to do it? The CEO has to do it. Because before you get to that big point where you just sitting in the boardroom and the business is running itself, you have to do that. So if floors had to be mopped, you would go mop them because you're leading by example. If you mop the floor, guess what that would entail? Well, this nigga's the CEO of the company and this nigga came in here mopping floors. This nigga in here doing this or doing that. Guess what type of morale that's going to engender inside the whole organization? Everybody else will be willing to do their job because they know you will come down here and do it with them. And that's the difference between Yahusha and all these other gods, because he came down here and did it with you. He just didn't come tell you to do something. See, bosses tell you what to do. A leader will come do it with you. He'll tell you what to do while he's doing it with you. Everybody done been on especially if you don't work in a restaurant before, and you don't work in a restaurant, and you'll have a boss to tell you, y'all need to do this and y'all need to do that, and nobody wants to do no work for him. Then you'll have a manager that come in, hey, we need this stuff on, I can't get it right now. Well, what the order is, I'll cook it. And guess what the employees do when he come to work? They'll do anything that man asked them to do. Because they know he'll come back there on that line and cook with them and push orders out with them. Well, you'll have another manager sit in the office and complain that you ain't pushing food out fast enough. Because when I used to work in the ale house, I used to see that. Because we used to clean up overnight. I used to see that. There was this one white dude named Carl. Everybody loved Carl. Because Carl would get in there and cook and wash dishes with him and all. You know what I'm saying? The dish man backed up, Carl back there washing dishes with him. So they'll do anything for that man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care. And that's why Yahuwah sent the man in the flesh in the first place. Because if he come out here and do it with him, ain't no way you couldn't follow him. That's why he said, like, he been tempted like as you are, yet without sin. He came in here and did it with you. He just didn't sit back and tell you, do not sin, do not sin. He said, I'm going to one-up him. I'm going to come down there and do it. And I'm going to be down there with you doing it. So when you see me doing it, that would make you say, you know what? I'm going to follow that dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to follow that dude. Because guess what? Yahusha knew everything in the text and what to do, and there was nothing in that book that was beneath him to do. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mind frame. Now, you have to look at that even as a husband in the household. It shouldn't be nothing in your house that's beneath you to do. It shouldn't be beneath you to change the baby's diapers. It shouldn't be beneath you to do the laundry. It shouldn't be beneath you to clean the house or cook a meal. Because you the head of the household. You set the temperature. You set the mold for everything in the house based on how you move. Because if the wife sees that and the family sees that, it makes it easier for them to serve you because you know they know that you serve them. That's what I was meaning last night when I said the household is supposed to be a reflection of Shamahim. It's supposed to be a reflection of Yahuwah. If you do that, then all these people be condemned, or they going to have to say truly that Yahuwah is the living Elohim and Yahushua is his anointed one. They would have to acknowledge that. Because they would be seeing the works of Shamahim in action in their face. You know what I'm saying? That's what you talk about, as for a lack of a better term, because it's grossly overused. That's what leveling up is about. That's what elevation is about. That's what conversion is about. It's not thinking like a mortal man. It's not being selfish. It's being selfless. It's being like Yah. It's being like God. God is selfless. Which is why he said he was merciful and compassionate. If he was thinking about himself, he'll kill everybody and start all over again. Because you know you got people out here disrespecting this man. If he's so great, then why did he make us like this? Don't blame that man because you wicked, nigga. You won't blame that man because you can't control yourself. No, nigga. He could have made us without sinning. He could have made us obey him. He didn't want to make you like that. The man do as he please, when he please. He wanted you to give you the option. So when I knock your whole dome loose, you can't say nothing. You had a choice. Who would want somebody to love them that had to be forced to do it? People tell you all the time, don't chase nobody and get you to love them. Guess what y'all did? Chased us. And we still didn't love them. So you know what he said? I'm tired of chasing. I'm finna start killing these niggas. And maybe they'll get the idea then. And you still didn't do it. So he said, know what? I'm going to take it one better. I'm going to manifest myself here in the flesh. And I'm going to love you this way. And guess what they did? Killed him. So is that Yah or is that man? That's man at that point. What do you say? Continue reading, sir. Hebrews 3. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective, something to think about. You can do what you want to with it. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you like this here, as a man, you should have an extensive conversation on, if you don't even know the skill set that your wife possesses, you already behind the 8 ball. If you don't know what she's good at and what she wants to do and what she likes to do, you already behind the 8 ball. You already behind it, because you should already know that. Because the reason why I say that is her skill set should have been a part in why you chose her to be your wife in the first place. You know what I'm saying? The skills and quality that she possesses. You should have already known that and identified that. But I can give some of y'all a pass because you were very young, so that thought process might have not been at the forefront of your brain at the time. It's not too many men in their early 20s is seeking out certain qualities in a woman other than they feel like she gonna be loyal and she gonna cook and do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put it this way, if you know your wife is good with budgeting and financing, then why wouldn't you put her over the financing in your business then and cut her a check? You know what I'm saying? If you know she good in organizational structure, then why wouldn't you make her your operations manager? You know what I'm saying? So she can organize and delegate the work to your employees and such if you get to that point. If you know that she's good with that. Because if you look at it, if she's running a household, clearly she has to have some manner of organizational skills because she's keeping a house. If you don't know that you got to be organized to keep the house, you're not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? If you know your wife is good at speaking, then you might use her for marketing. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what that ends up turning? Because then you can teach that to the kids, and then you have the kids of the mind frame up. Because you know your kids may not want to be part of the family business, but at least you might have them a brain to want to start their own business. Where they mind even seeing that, because that's what white people do. That's why their kids grow up and decide to be entrepreneurs versus being employees, because they see both of their parents engaged in that activity. If they choose to be an employee, their parents will still support them, but they trying to set an environment up the way you choose to want to be an entrepreneur versus working for somebody, because mama and daddy does it, or mama and daddy do it together, or daddy supports what mama does, mama supports what daddy does. So they grow up and do the same thing. It's some black people that do it, but then you got people like Oprah that just kill the whole play by not wanting to have kids and do that at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's her choice.
She don't have kids.
Yeah, but they're not hers though. You know, she came out a long time ago say, I ain't marrying this nigga. And the nigga she was with got bread. He got bread. Like, he ain't no po nigga. He ain't no po nigga.
I had seen a tweet because they was go to Bug.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Like, you know, it gotta be an event when Oprah brings her nigga.
What you say? If Oprah somewhere with Stedman is real. And Oprah been with Stedman for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Now imagine if they would have decided to have some offspring, the type of information and knowledge that they would have been able to impart to their offspring.
I thought she didn't want to marry him for that divorce. He get half of the money and all that.
Nah, she just wasn't real big on getting married. She felt like, what was the point? If we good in the space that we in, she said she didn't feel any need to do that. I mean, that's what, I mean, at that point you can say that, but she got enough bread she could care less.
That's all I'm gonna say. Only she fucked nigga, she caked up. I feel like that would go to a lot of women head. You caked up. You feel like you ain't gonna need nobody. You got the money and the knowledge to make.
Cause see, let me see, like, see, Oprah's an example, and I beg you men to ask yourself this question, right? Cause see, Oprah's an example of that. Most men don't even really realize that when your wife chooses to marry you, that she chose to sacrifice all her dreams, hopes, and aspirations for you. You know what I'm saying? Cause see, a lot of women, and I say in the last 25 to 30 years, they delayed getting married and having kids until they could fulfill their dreams and their hopes and their aspirations first. And then they say, I will get married, because the average woman knows that when I get married, 99.9% of the time, I'm the one who's going to sacrifice my dreams, hopes, and aspirations, and probably going to be supporting him and his. And that men, we don't even consider that they doing that. That's why when some people get married for a certain period of time and the marriage go on, that woman ends up resenting her husband because of that, because she goes to think about all the things she wanted to do that she never got to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't be thinking about that, because we think that all that woman want to do is change diapers, make bottles, send kids to school, cook dinner, wash clothes, and toot a button to F you. No, I mean, because we don't, because you're not thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking about that. That she wanted to do stuff too. You know what I'm saying? It is. You know what I'm saying? But also this society kind of crafts that. Because like I said, the average woman knows when I get married, I'm going to give up what I want to do for the family. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, they still wanted to do this stuff, and then the man thinking, I got to do for the family, and then they tend to forget that she wanted to do stuff too. That's why a lot of women wait. They be like, well, we can get married in 5 more years because I'm trying to get to this, and this point. And then some women, when they get to that point, it goes to their head and they get puffed up with pride, and then they begin to disrespect the men that they were with or that they were dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Because now you think you done reached this level because Mr. Charlie done told you this, that, there, and the third, and then they say, ain't no good men out here, they intimidated by me, I can't get no man. No, it's you, baby. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. So, for lack of a better term that was on that card, there has to be a balance in that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to remember she's a help me, so you a team, so you try to work together and help each other.
Oh, she's easy.
Go ahead. Hebrews 3. Because at the end of the day, Yahushua helped us, and we help him. How do we help him? By spreading his message, whether through preaching or whether through our lifestyles. And it's a team to work together. And the goal is fulfilled, and everybody's satisfied, and everybody's accounted for. Come on with that Hebrews
16:3.
3. Hebrews 3 and 16.
It said, for some when they had heard did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. But with whom was he grieved 40 years?
But those who what?
Was it not them with them that had sinned?
I think we need to go to about verse 9. We're looking for, they say, don't be deceived by the deceitfulness of sin. I think we about to end of that chapter.
About 12.
About 12.
You can start at 11.
Go ahead and give them 11. 'Cause I think we at the end of the chapter.
It says, so I swear in my wrath they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living Elohim.
See, that's what sin is, because it will deceive you. Like Paul said, sin deceived me and it slew me. You know what I'm saying? Because remember he said that you got to be changed from the deceitful lusts of the flesh, because it will deceive you and it will kill you. Because guess what? When that woman batting her eyes at you and shaking her hips, that flesh is deceiving you and telling you that there'll be no repercussions for you if you do that. You know what I'm saying? It's deceiving you in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? It's just like your friends used to, what the book tell you, if sinners could entice thee, consent thou not. Because all you done had some man, you know what I'm talking about, either the women or some friends, you know what I'm talking about, period, that always was trying to deceive you and entice you to do something that you knew was wrong before they came to you with it. You know what I'm saying? So when you are converted and become new, that can't happen to you because you don't have a heart of stone, you have a heart of flesh. You have a new mind, your new way of thinking. You've put off that deceitfulness of the lust of the flesh and put on the faithfulness of the living Elohim, if that make any sense. What was that for that? Oh yeah, come on back to Samuel. I think we need to drop down. We dealt with that, right? Turn them to another man. No, I'm talking about verse 7. You did read it.
I'm talking about what you want to do. Come back.
We already just read it. We're in verse 8.
You had for 9 and 1.
Oh yeah, we good on that. You could drop that. I already mentioned that. He was a good looking guy.
Okay.
Yeah, you good. No, you were on point, sir. On point. Head and shoulders above everybody else. Head and shoulders, knees and toes. Come on.
So we're back at 10 and 8.
10 and 8. 1 Samuel 10 and 8.
It says, and when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of the prophets met him, and the Ruach of Elohim came upon him, and he prophesied among them. And it came to pass when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that come unto the son of Kish? It saw among...
you said verse 8. I think you skipped verse 8. Yeah, you skipped verse 8.
I did it. I started at 10.
Yeah, you definitely said 8.
I definitely did. I apologize to everybody.
They said they rejected
And
it.
thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days thou shalt tarry till I come to thee and show thee what thou shalt do. And it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, Elohim gave him another heart.
He gave him another what?
Another heart.
Another what?
Another heart.
Got to be converted. Go ahead.
And all those signs came to pass.
And what did the people say?
And when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him. And the Ruach of Elohim came upon him, and he prophesied among them.
And what else?
And it came to pass when all that knew him before
That everybody that knew him when?
before time,
What they do?
they saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that is coming to the son of Kish? And Saul is among the prophets.
And what else?
And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father?
Who is their father?
Therefore it became a proverb, is Saul also among
What
the
that sound like to y'all?
It's not the son of...
Is this not the son of Mary? Don't we know his daddy? But it's also something else. 1 Peter 4 and 1. Because it said everybody that knew you before. Let me ask anybody a question. Anybody that knew you before the word?
Before and do the things that we do.
Yeah, they look at you crazy now.
That's what that for Peter.
That's that for Peter. Some of y'all friends don't look at you crazy.
Don't go and do the same things that we do.
Well, I'll say she don't go home with me no more.
You Get drinking. We don't drink with it no more.
Like this here, I knew this chick. She talking about she used to go with her homegirl. They be holding hands, getting ramrodded, laying next to each other, holding hands.
They say you don't match up no more.
You don't match up no more. You don't come up here and pick up random niggas with me no more.
You know what I'm saying? You don't match up no more.
Niggas say you don't sit in the dope house with me no more while I snort up all this cocaine. Your homeboy be like this here. You don't chase hoes with me no more, bro. You used to smoke weed with me, cuz. You think you better than a nigga, cuz? You better than a nigga, cuz you serve God. You better than me.
You can't get me a blunt from the
I can't, huh? Shoot, what you mean? I like to come home sweaty, smelling like cigarette smoke.
cigarettes. What's up? I'm sorry.
Random niggas grabbing on your butt in the club. Who touched me? You know, I'm be honest with you though. When you get, the older you get though, you turn around and you look like, why did you even go to the club? What was the purpose? Niggas standing in here sweaty, hot, and stank.
It was the real rolling the dice.
To get it, to impress niggas you don't even like. Cause niggas spend a lot of money to impress niggas you don't even like. Niggas you don't even know.
Spring break, it's just the beach.
It's just the beach with butt naked hoes.
I ain't never.
Every year. That's what they be saying.
I went to Daytona spring break one time, boy. I went with my homeboys and they didn't know how to act. That nigga said, bruh.
I won't never go to that.
I said, boy, you act like you ain't never seen a woman in a bikini before. I told you about the first time we went to a strip club, boy, I thought them boys were gonna have a coordinator. We were 18 years old. I'm telling you, two of my homeboys came in there with Kira said her mama told her granddaddy, Kira strong in her face, he's picking up on it. Oh, the first time I told you a couple of my homeboys, they came in there with nylon sweatpants, no drawers.
They thought they was finna get off, huh?
Well, they did get off. That nigga came with no drawers on. Yeah, come on. I'm not gonna mention the name. I'm gonna let him live where he at. Those who were there, they know what I'm talking about. That nigga came out. That nigga like, bruh, she put it in through the sweatpants, bruh. I'm not washing them. Look at the wet spot. I said, boy, this nigga here.
Oh no.
The same nigga who said that, we was outside smoking weed. That nigga said, boy, ain't no hoes out here, bro. The hoes in there. I said, well, nigga, you ain't got to wait on us to go in there, nigga. It's going on in there. It was at Magic City. They used to get butt naked in there, man. That junk was right over there in San Marco. Dead serious. Boy, them niggas ain't know how to act. I'm talking about, boy, they was like this here. Y'all remember them old commercials or what it was bells when the women would stand at the door talking about open, open, open. How they would look. That's how them niggas used to feel. Because, you know, we teenagers. Now, of course, as we got older, you know, that kind of feeling went away. You know what I'm saying? They were used to it. But at that point, shoot, them niggas ain't never seen that many titties and butt and vaginas in one place. Definitely not exposed. Shoot, them niggas lost their mind. Them niggas like, boy, I'd have met my wife. You know she's a whore. You know that, right?
You know you paid for that.
I told my homeboy he did. I told you that nigga was in there putting his face in between the women's legs. You know what I'm talking about? All type of stuff.
You paid for that.
Nigga go, but my homeboy had robbed KFC for about $3,200. That nigga was in there just like this here. I said, shit, nigga, I'd have bought some weed. I ain't getting me hoe. Nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, nothing. My homeboy used to pull that move, get a lap dance, and slide her a dollar bill and did. You know, that man about $10, $20. Them niggas sliding a dollar bill and sliding and hoping security don't find them. What you mean? We teenagers, man. You got your hand on your hips like you done been in the club and you was offended. Nigga did you like that? How you looking? Shoot, my Sam niggas did me like that back in 2015. Nasty bastard.
Cheap bastard.
You done been in the strip club before? It looked like you was in there tipping them whole one.
Yeah.
Oh, nasty. Mess around, be a lesbian.
Nah.
Well, what it said, don't be coming with a Ronnie Ho quote, she gonna get you.
That's the thing. I went in the strip club.
They ain't matter. They be watching the spot and the scoping.
They
Like,
just watch out for the money. That's it.
shoot, that's what you think. Shoot, some of them hoes around there watching out for a mate.
We was only there for like 5 minutes.
What strip club you went to?
Mascaras.
Right up my ass. Look at him.
You been to two? You been to strip club, D? But for you been in one? I ain't see what she
That's
said.
like a thing.
I think that was
I ain't never been to a strip club.
You ain't never been to a strip club?
Been a-
You never been? No.
You ain't missed nothing.
You ain't been
I mean, I don't feel left out.
You been to one. You been to one.
Well, it was not no strip club, bro.
It was.
But they was, they were tipping dancers. That wasn't a strip club. They were tipping dancers.
I'm trying to think. I've been in Mirage.
Getting old.
I've been in the
I
Players Club.
went on there, get off night.
Yeah, it ain't open no more. It was over there by Wilson.
I mean, it was just. It was.
We've been in
small.
older.
They weren't getting no people.
It was
The Trap. I've been in the Trap. The Trap was probably the hardest strip club in the history of strip clubs in this
They weren't
city.
stripping.
They was dancing.
Magic City, yeah, the Trap. Okay, anybody know on University where that Taco Bell is? Like going towards Fields Highway. You know that empty field over there?
What
Like-
about that?
No, I mean Vibe is on the corner of Fields Highway. But you know where the Taco Bell is, right? On University. Yeah, by Shooters. You know where it's got that empty field where that fence at? That used to be a Super 8 motel. And in front of that Super 8 motel, it was a strip club and it had various names. And at one point it was called The Trap. It was owned by Willie Jackson that used to play wide receiver for the Jaguars and used to play for the University of Florida. Now that Super 8 motel was a crack motel because we did a lot of trapping in that hotel. And then the Trap, you know what I'm saying? It was literally the Trap. Niggas said it was a strip club, but it wasn't nothing but drugs and booty being sold in there. It wasn't nothing for them hoes to walk up to you and ask you, nigga, what you paying? You got 50? I was like, oh, you offended me. I don't know what you saw about me made you think I was gonna trick with you. I'm just here because my homeboy asked me to come home.
I got a little crowd.
I ain't sell no dope in there, but a lot of niggas got killed in front of the Trap. You know what I'm saying? That was in like 2002, 2003. It was a very, very infamous. That's why they. It was an IHOP used to be right there. That's why they tore all of it down.
That was a hot little spot. Man. Got all that right there.
Zone 3, everybody in Zone 3 is what stayed around there.
I always boosting up coffee.
Hey, that's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need. I mean, I wanted to suit. I was Zone 3, baby. Zone 3. Come on.
Make your babies cry. Your kid about to get popped.
Hezekiah, you better stop.
They stink. Better leave
You better
that
stop. Leave it alone.
But backside?
Hey, don't say sass. That's kind of feminine. You a boy.
Oh, my bad.
You a boy. Boys don't sass.
Right. Just try it. Go Walmart.
You really
No.
Come on, man. Because we got to get ready to slide.
Let's do it then. We at 1 Peter chapter 4.
1 Peter 4:1.
4:1. For as much then as Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time to the flesh.
See that self-denial come in the way you put away that old behavior?
But to the will of Elohim. For the time past in our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles. When we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banqueting, and abominable idolatries.
Yep.
Wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same acts.
They think it's strange.
Speaking evil of you.
Speaking evil, that's what they were doing with Saul, because they made a proverb. Either was a dark saying or they mocking you. Go ahead. They mocking you. Come
You
on.
shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead.
The quick and the
For
dead.
this cause was the sword.
That's good right there. That's good right there. Let's look at Gideon, because we won't get to David tonight. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Can anybody read where David heard the word of faith at?
1 Samuel 16.
You already answered that question. He didn't. It doesn't read about anything that he heard the word of faith. It shows him exhibiting faith. His exhibiting, when you actually start reading about David, it's in the 16th chapter when he anointed him. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes out and fights against Goliath and all that there. But
He already had faith.
he already had it. It just don't. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say when I Sunday y'all that was a trick question because it wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Nigga on the trip mission.
Hey, I want to see how close you pay attention to the text.
Let that be his.
This one coming tonight, right? This mission.
Come when I
He
see
ain't
it.
gonna send no more missions to you.
Because her breath stink.
First, I want to do the first one. Get together now.
I don't know who you sassing your eyes at.
Oh, baby.
A little sassy. You get beat.
You gotta get her number.
Yeah. A little sassy. We beat Churn. Bet you lied.
And we jump.
Shoot, that little dress I can't tell. You got on side dress on. You act like she don't want to listen. Come on, man. Come on to get a judge at 6 and 1. You got side dress on. Cause that dress shoulder is small.
Little baby.
She got on a baby doll dress. This ain't 1994.
Little baby. 6 and 1.
Now we looking at Gideon.
Top of 6.
Top of 6 and 1.
It said the children of Yasharal did evil on the side of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah delivered them into the hands of Midian. 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Yasharal, and because of the Midianites, the children of Yasharal made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds.
Strongholds.
So it was when Yasharal had sown that the Midianites came, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth.
That's good. Drop down to verse 11.
And there came a Malakim of Yahuwah and sat under an oak, which was at Ophrah, that pertained to Joash, the son of the Abizarite. And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites.
Yep.
And the Malakim of Yahuwah appeared unto him and said unto him, Yahuwah is with thee, thou mighty man of valor.
Look what Gideon's response is.
And Gideon said unto him, O my master, if Yahuwah be with us, why then is this befallen?
That's how a lot of people feel. If y'all be with us, why all this happening to me? But if y'all be for you, who can be against you? That's what Paul wrote. Come on.
And where be all his miracles, which our fathers have told us, saying, did not Yahuwah bring us up from Israel?
This how niggas feel right now too.
But now Yahuwah has forsaken us.
He had why?
And delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
But look what he said. Look at what the Malakim said.
And Yahuwah looked upon him and said.
Now you notice how it said Yahuwah looked upon him? But was Yahuwah looking upon him, or was the Malakim looking upon him? Because the Malakim and Yahuwah are one and the same. But he ain't talking to Yahuwah right now, because it went from a Malakim that is saying all this here to Yahuwah. But Yahuwah is looking upon him because that Malakim is in the image of Yahuwah doing his bidding. So that go back to what we were talking about last night. You can see a Malakim and you think you done seen Elohim. Because if you seen a Malakim, then you seen Elohim, which is why he said if you seen Yahushua, you seen the Father. You seen one, you seen them both.
You ain't see that face though.
Now you don't see that face though. You see that face, we're going to clock you out of here. It's 2 things to get automatic death in this book. With no, I'm talking about ASAP. See that man face and touch that Ark of the Covenant. You out of here. You know what I'm saying? Anything else he gonna spare you on. Because there's people who done did a lot of things he ain't killed. Because he could have killed David on the spot. He could have killed Saul on the spot.
But that's why I'm not saying you didn't see his face or heard his voice.
That's what he talking about. You thought you saw the... See, because they get it caught up because it's saying Abba. You thought you seen Abba. You thought you heard him. But you ain't heard him and you ain't seen him.
You think you get to see his face and live in a dream? If I be in a dream?
That man said you can't see his face and live, period. Said no man. He gonna send a Malakim in it. What king you know get off the throne and do menial labor?
Go deliver messages and whatnot.
King don't get off his throne to deliver no message. That's why I'm the king. I hire people for that. You know what I'm saying? If the king got to get off his throne, it's a problem. Guess what? Yahushua sitting on the throne, and when he get off that throne, it's a problem.
He got a throne
right next to the Father. And when he get off his throne, it's a problem. You got to remember, the Father ain't getting off the throne till everything finished.
What you said?
I said, Father don't get off the throne.
Oh yeah, he get off the throne.
For nothing. For what? I made all this here. Just sit back and tell me what's going on.
Got his foot on the
Like
earth
this
like
When he coming off the throne?
when everything finished.
Yeah. He's just coming off the throne when he's gonna dwell.
Now remember again, no man can see him and live. So if he come off that throne, everybody dies. He can't dwell in any uncleanliness or sin, so the whole earth is consumed.
But in Revelation, it said his throne is going to come down to earth.
After everything been cleansed. I can dwell here now. Everything is eternal and everyone in it is eternal. Therefore, my presence will not destroy or kill anyone.
Because he ain't going to really be doing it, because his son going to be doing it.
Yeah, I'm not killing nobody. That's what I made him for.
He ain't been doing too much enough, but why would you niggas be with
But giving orders.
And with the flood, he probably son Yahushua to do the flood.
You know, said, man, he told the sky. No, listen.
Said, I'm about to do this.
No, he ain't come do nothing.
See, like I said, he opened up the.
He told the skies open.
Yeah, open up that water from above.
I ain't got to do nothing. All he got to do is say, nigga, jump. Nigga ain't asking how high, they just jump until he say stop. Nigga say, clap your hands. They don't stop. Stop clapping.
Like Genesis, his voice went across some water.
And they did what it do.
Party started.
Let's go.
Saying, Amos, you should fear him that tells the seas to stop or something like that.
That's in Jeremiah. Say that the sea roar against the sand and never overtake it. Go ahead.
Ain't he good?
Yeah. That man ain't nobody to be played with. I mean, you sit back and you look at it, right? In the history of kingdoms, very rarely have any kings ever got off the throne and did anything. You had warrior
Not back in
kings.
the day though, but I said back when it first started, Saul, David, all them niggas was.
No, I'm talking about just not all kingdoms, just kingdoms period. I would say very rarely do you have kings that get off. Like I said, that's why I say you had warrior kings. You know what I'm saying? Kings who were killers because they wanted to fight with their men. But very rarely do kings get off the throne and do anything.
A lot of them kings do the fault with the people though.
Yeah, I mean a lot of kings in modern history did it too, and a lot of kings sit on the throne and be like, shoot, that's what I hired you for.
English, not King George, not like that bullshit.
Like Yahushua, he a king, but he got off his throne and let's get it. But that's the difference. But that's but guess what though? No, but I'm telling you that as an example. Those kings who have a history of getting off the throne, they engendered more love from their subjects than the kings who sat on the throne and did nothing. Yeah, Alexander was a king. Alexander the Great was a king. He got off his throne. That's why they loved him.
He was
a conqueror.
But he just controlled a section of the kingdom. He ain't run the whole kingdom.
I mean, he pretty much knocked Ptolemy off and took over. You know what I'm saying? He may have not walked around with an official title as a king, but he was a king. He was a ruler of a dominion. Julius Caesar, a lot of people liked him in his time because he was amongst the people. And that's it actually in the 48 laws of power, to not actually remove yourself far from the people so you can know what's going on. People who sit on the throne, they don't know what's going on. So therefore, it could be all manner of uprisings and all these things that are about to happen, and you oblivious to it because you've insulated yourself away from the people.
And taking hot baths and eating grapes, some niggas outside.
And the people begin to resent you.
For real.
And then they want to kill you. That's why I mentioned that before. A true king, we already know that. We went through breaking down what a Malik is. A Malik is a servant. So there can never be a thank you, sir, because I was about to do that. There will never be resentment in your kingdom if you're serving amongst your subjects. So if you look at your wife and your children are your subjects because they're subject to your authority and you're serving with them, then there won't be no resentment coming from them because you are doing it with them. So they would never resent you. You know what I'm saying? But if you just sitting back, woman, where's my food? Do this, do that. 10, 15 years down the line, if she could, she'd cut your throat. You know what I'm saying? Or the thoughts go to sit like this, or they could be feeling like my auntie, I should have went my first mind and not married that nigga.
That might be her jit, though.
Who that?
That's it. There's people like that.
Ain't no telling. But a nigga was psycho.
And go there.
Go to school, nigga, and get good grades. I hate you, mommy.
Come in there and watch it.
I'm gonna kill you. That nigga pulled a white people.
Shame.
I know it. They said he barely injured them at all. They said they fought him up. Look at y'all. What's that?
Yeah, I sleep light. He coming over tonight. You might get one poke. The rest is history.
Like, mommy, I hate you. You make me wear boxer briefs and not boxers. Come on, man. Let's finish this one. Mommy, I hate you. You make me sick. You tell me to go to school and get good grades and iron my own clothes.
We had the verse.
I know he was black, but he did a white people. Change the fact he did a white people.
We had verse 14. And Yahuwah looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Yahshua from the hand of the Midianites.
You see, he's giving him a promise.
Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my master, wherewith shall I save Yasharal? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.
Drop to verse 20.
It says, and the Malachim of Elohim said unto him, take the flesh and leaven cakes and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. And the Malachim of Yahuwah put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And there rose up a fire out of the rock and consumed the flesh and unleavened cakes. And then the Malachim of Yahuwah departed out of his sight. When Gideon perceived that that he was a Malachim of Yahuwah, Gideon said, alas, O Yahuwah Elohim, for because I have seen the Malachim of Yahuwah face to face.
Notice again, he's seeing him face to face. That means when he saw, every time we seen somebody see that say a Malachim face to face, they got a word from Elohim from that Malachim, didn't they? Every time. And look what the next thing it said that Yahuwah said unto him.
It said, and Yahuwah said unto him, Shalom be unto thee. Fear not, thou shalt not die.
Because see, they right there. I know we got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
That was very nice of her.
Very kind.
Very kind. I definitely thought about the auditorium when it was booked. The auditorium big though. We've been in that one before. It is big. I think not. That's what it
I
was.
really admire your nigger babies.
Oh my.
She was just saying next time maybe we could get the
Back in the day,
auditorium.
white folks used to do that, though.
Look at the nigger babies. Look at the dimples on the nigger baby.
I got black friends.
Look at all the nigger babies.
They all different shades.
They're raising on white people. I got black friends.
Yeah. They trying. But listen though. Now why do you think Yahuwah needed to tell Gideon that he was not going to die for seeing this angel?
It wasn't him that he said.
But even still though, the people thought, regardless if it was Yahuwah himself or an angel, that was Elohim and they were going to die. Because if you remember what the Lord tell you, do not curse the rulers of thy people. Remember, Elohim also mean ruler, and Elohim can be applied to an angel or a judge or a ruler. So the people's minds is if they saw a messenger of Yah, you still were going to die.
Mari.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all had to come from, you're not going to die because you ain't seen me, baby. You ain't seen me. Come on. Drop down to verse 34.
You fake.
Now what we looked at is all the promises and Gideon did what he was supposed to do. And then let's see if he get the spirit. Cause we got the slide.
But the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon Gideon and he blew a trumpet and Abazar was gathered after him.
Now I'm asking y'all a question. When he got the Ruach on him, now he getting to go do his work now, don't he? The same way that when Saul got the Ruach, guess what he went to go do? His work. When David got the Ruach, guess what he went to go do? His work. Every time you see the Ruach fall upon somebody in this text, they get ready to go do something that Yah has sent them to go do. You know what I'm saying? With him, guess what? John the Baptist called his in the womb for him to get ready to go do it. He had to be ready what he had to go do before he was even born. I meant to get him today, but y'all willing we'll get him next week. Yahushua son of Nun when he had it. Other men who he filled with the Ruach of wisdom and understanding to perform some specific skills. And then of course, anybody remember the characters for the Ruach?
Raj.
Yep.
You got the
Mm-hmm.
You got the olive.
Mm-hmm.
No olive.
No olive.
You can't.
The and then the cod.
Mm-hmm.
God.
So when you turn around and look at that, the head, what else that is? The head. So the head of the separated sacrifice. Because that's what that Ruach is going to do. It's going to separate you. And we know if you receive the Ruach of Mashiach, what has you been separated by? His sacrifice. Then when we get the Kadash, what we going to get? Which is behind the door, and destruction or consume. So that goes back to what we were looking at in 1 Peter chapter 2. And if we put Hakadash in front of it, we get the hay in the yard, which is what? Behold the hand. So behold the hand that is divided or put behind the door of destruction. So what does Yahushua put behind you but death? What has he destroyed? Sin. That's behind you. This is what the Ruach HaKodesh is all about. And when you actually look at it and the things that you're supposed to do to be able to attain, to actually receive it, it's going to be all about sacrificing yourself and putting things behind you. But read that Galatians 3 and 1 more time.
A person gotta want that.
I mean, you do have to want it. You have to have a desire for it, and then also at the same token, you have to be preordained for it at the same time. Because he would already gave you a mind at that time for you to, when it present itself, for you to go after that with all earnesty and
I think when you tell a person
desire.
you gotta make sacrifice to walk and all that, you gotta.
But that's what niggas don't believe though. Like I feel like that alone make niggas not believe because he feel like how we got towards if he already set people up.
Yeah, too.
But see, the people are already set up.
Say that.
I know it, because people are already set up. But he already set up, because you know what? I'm glad you said
like
that.
they don't got no chance.
See, I'm glad you said that. Give me Romans 9 and 15. Because we always talking about the potter with the clay, right?
Yeah. From your man, some for destruction, some for esteem.
Some for esteem. Hey, guess what? I told y'all that before. When you had your little green army man when you was a jit. Look at, I had almost every action figure of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, I didn't steal the Ninja Turtles. I stole the wrestling man. You know what I'm talking about? Get it correct. I did not steal Baxter Stockman, Michelangelo, Splinter, Shredder. Those were bought and paid for with my mother's hard-earned money. But yeah, bought a rat shoot. He was part of the collection. You know what I'm talking about? And Baxter Stockman was a bad guy, but guess what? I can make him a good guy. You know why? It's my choice. I got power over these clays. I make them how I want to make them. But am I lying though? Nigga, we had G.I. Joes. We used to make some of the Cobra niggas. You G.I. Joes. You get in the G.I. Joe tank. You know why? I got power over this clay. I ain't talking about the movie. I'm talking about the action figures. Nigga, they used to make actual aircraft carriers. Nigga, we used to have those. You can't steal them out of the store. You gotta buy him. You ain't stealing no aircraft carrier. You had to buy that. I ain't had that. My homeboys had it. So you borrowed that. Let me hold yours and I let you hold him. Nigga know how to see boys had plenty. See, y'all had dolls. We got action figures of multiple different cartoon series. You know what I'm saying? So you know you set them up. Nigga, we had G.I. Joes, A-Team, Rambo, Batman, Superman. Nigga, I had all the Justice League junk. And then when Batman became a movie, I had at least 3 Batmobiles. They're serious. You know, Batman been my nigga for a long time.
Well, He-Man, my childhood feel dry.
I had He-Man.
Like Transformers cars.
We had Transformers, nigga. We had Thundercats.
You had Transformers?
Nigga, Transformers old. Nigga, Transformers was a cartoon. We all had them toys.
All I had was Hot Wheels.
Nigga, we had Hot Wheels, but I'm gonna tell you though, they messed us up. See, Dwight ain't here because he know from that episode of Family Guy with that He-Man and them Thundercats. Well, them was some homoerotic dolls right there, muscular men and draws. But you ain't paying no attention to it when you're a jit.
I think that was my parents, but my parents they never really condone the doll like action figures. She always got me like Legos and cars. Like,
No, I would like to see, and I'm talking about at that time when He-Man and Thundercats was popping as far as action figures. This like 86, 87, 88. So a nigga didn't have wrestling men like that. And truth be told, if you ain't even really see wrestling on TV like that at that time. Like wrestling wasn't like what it is now. It was a regional thing, and it wasn't really on network television. And unless you had cable, or depending where you lived, if there was a wrestling promotion in that area, then you saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like how wrestling is now. Oh, it wasn't like that. Like a nigga never saw WCW like that. You know what I'm saying? And we was in the South and we supposed to seen it, but we ain't see it like that. Because it was a regional thing. Like wrestling was territories. Each person owned them. Now, and Vince McMahon put everybody out of business. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. But yeah, that's what Stewie said. He said that's what happens when you let your kids play with homoerotic dolls. Because most of those He-Man and Thundercat dolls were muscular niggas with very scant amount of clothes on.
Wrestlers too.
But I'm saying
My
is,
homeboys had them Stone Cold.
but that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that the wrestling men. But what I'm saying is 86, 87, 88 niggas didn't have. If you had one, it'd be a big plastic like Junkyard Dog and all. But niggas didn't buy them like that, cause wrestling wasn't that. It wasn't that universal to where you buying wrestling action figures. You know what I'm saying? But niggas seen He-Man and Thundercats every week. You know what I'm saying?
They had a wrestling ring, you make noise about man.
Yeah, when the early '90s came, that's when wrestling started getting bigger to the point. Okay, we buy action figures and this, that, then the third. But yeah, the first homoerotic dog was He-Man all day long. Thundercats, y'all know the little thing he put a sword to. Thundercats, this nigga screaming "ho" with drawers on, and a nigga with a rapping on, mum rock. You know, Inspector Gadget. Niggas had Inspector Gadget toys. You know, see, y'all don't know, like on Saturday mornings, like days like this here, nigga get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they watching cartoons till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because they played cartoons like all day on Saturday morning. And then because they were playing them cartoons all day like that, they had action figures, cereal, t-shirts, and everything to go with it for you to buy.
You don't know about that static shop, you can't relate.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that probably was good. Yeah.
You know, before you read this, you know what's the most ignorant thing I've been seeing lately? All these niggas getting happy about that Black Panther movie. Niggas saying the Black Panther movie. Nigga like, don't watch it on bootleg. Support the movie. It's not a black movie. That is a Marvel Studios movie. White people are gonna get rich off of you niggas thinking that you own something that you don't own.
But it's because you ain't moving in the Black Panther.
Nigga, kill me with that. It's for the culture. White culture. That's who owns it.
That's the money bank accounts.
I seen that movie. That is not a black. That's not a black movie house. That's not a black producer. It's not a black director.
Only thing is, nigga getting.
It's a black comic book character.
What a white girlfriend.
You got a white girlfriend.
White girlfriend.
Real life?
Well, BET started off black owned, so I'm not gonna go to that. Marvel never started off black owned. BET was black owned, and then Robert Johnson sold it to Viacom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Viacom owns every source of music media in the United States of America. They own VH1, BET, and MTV. Viacom. That's how Robert Johnson became a billionaire. He sold BET to Viacom. Yeah, BET started out black owned. BET was funky when it was black owned in the 80s and 90s now. It was hardcore.
BET After Dark?
Nah, I ain't talking about no BET After Dark, nigga. I'm talking about Donnie Simpson, nigga, and that light skinned lady that was real fine that everybody loved. You know you right. Come on, man. Give me that room, man. You know she like me like After Dark.
No, it wasn't like that.
I know it wasn't like that. You around here rubbing on yourself.
No, I was not. I was like,
That's why all the girls got their moves from Uncut, BET After Dark.
Around here twerking and
That was
perking.
always the first video. Come on.
Hey, come on, we got the dip. Go ahead.
You want Romans 9, then Galatians 3, right?
9 to 15. Matter of fact, we ain't gonna do it. At Roman 9, then they say, who are you to reply against Elohim, old man? Don't the potter have power over the clay to make a vessel under honor and one to dishonor? If I want to smash your wicked behind and send you straight to hell, then that is my prerogative. And with that being said, hallelujah for Yahushua the worker. We got to roll.